enjoying a fantastic day, coming off work, school, whatever the case may be. For those out there, Easter weekend, happy Easter. Celebrate with loved ones, friends, and family. Stay home. Please, everybody, enjoy. Go to a nice restaurant, have a good time. Of course, we got men's and women's college basketball. We got the rest of March Madness. Of course, the NBA. Sooner or later, we got the play-in tournament. Of course, the WNBA with the expansion draft, and a few more weeks till the NFL draft. So we got a lot to look forward to regarding April. Also, April is Autism Awareness Month. As you all know, Sports PSP has acknowledged about his autism. So just want to bring awareness to autism, and thank you to all the parents. Thank you to all the parents helping and raising their kids, especially those who are autistic. Thank you to Mama PSP for everything that she's done for me. Also, thank you to Jennifer Lazarus. For those who may not know, my former professor from college. She actually has a son who's autistic, and I just say, thank you. I always tell her we need more women, we need more mothers like you. You give sons like myself a reason to just continue to keep on and keep on going with life. So to Mama PSP and to Jennifer Lazarus, I say thank you. And of course, the beautiful D. Love you, D. Love you, sweetheart. You are a wonderful, amazing woman. The big fella always gives you your love and fires. Hopefully, y'all meet soon in New York or Columbus, Georgia, or anywhere. But we got the panel. To my gentleman on the top left corner, he is the one half of the Georgia Bulldogs alum. He is Mr. Atlanta. I call him Mr. Atlanta for a reason. He's got his Georgia Bulldogs frame, and he's also got his Julio Jones frame. He is a girl dad. Braves, Hawks, Falcons. The list goes on and on. Got a new clean cut. Mr. Atlanta himself. BRF Sports. How you doing, man?
Life is good, man. I can't complain. Another great week of work. I actually have to work tomorrow, but I got to come on through and help y'all rep. Always a pleasure being on here. I got to say though, man, Atlanta sports right now kind of cooking right now.
Yes.
Braves 5-2. The Atlanta Hawks might actually not be in the play-in for once this year. I mean, they beat the Magic the other night, 130 to 101. They are now 44-33, fifth seed in the East. Shout out to the homies. Nessa, what's going on, Miss Lady? How you
Shout out to
doing?
the
How you
beautiful
doing?
Nessa.
Shout out to Nessa.
Yes.
And of course,
Yeah,
let's
man.
not
Hey,
forget your Atlanta Falcons new uniforms.
I must admit, I've seen a lot of mixed discourse on here. Me personally, I think they're fire compared to the crap we've had the last few years. The only one this ain't no me personally. I don't own one of the jerseys, but I felt like they were trying a little too hard with the last batch. Keep it simple. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. So hey, simple as that. Those from to me, I don't really have to be blown away by my team's uniforms. Those to me are nice. I do hope they eventually add a black on black scheme at some point. I hope they do. But I like them. I like the new uniforms. But I mean, but outside of that though, I mean, it's good to see the teams trying to kick off a new era. I mean, the Braves, Walt Weiss is the new manager. You see the Hawks, no Trey Young. It's the Jalen Johnson era there. You see how they've been cooking. And then with the Falcons going into the Kevin Stefanski era, I mean, mixed reactions about that as well. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going to support my teams no matter what. But all in all, been a good time, been a good week. Always a pleasure to hop on this podcast. We are the highlighted Friday nights for a reason. We got the ring leader to my right. We got the undisputed homie at the bottom. And it's time to get it in. Always a pleasure. How y'all doing?
We doing good, but you know what uniform I think they should have kept permanent? Them old Falcons uniforms from the early '90s and 2000s. Those are the
I
uniforms that.
I did those as well. I do. I want to see a black on black. And I really hope I hope they bring the gray pants back, the silver pants back as well for one
Yes.
of them. So I kind of hope they do that as well. I'm not
With the
ruling
black
out.
and white cleats? Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. So I don't think. the good thing about uniforms is yes, they advertised, they showed what they showed, but ain't no telling how many combinations you could come up with down the line. So hopefully they come up with some good ones. But you know what? All in all, I ain't mad at it, man. But shout out to the home teams, man.
In the words of the late great Tupac
Effort
Shakur, I ain't mad at you.
at the end of the day, and at least they're trying to show it.
Absolutely.
Exactly. At the end of the day, they're showing effort, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. And at the end of the day, what more could you ask? And of course, we cannot do the Sports PSP podcast without my main man on the gentleman on the right. He is the 5-time college degree champion. He's the military man and veteran. He's the Al Roker of journalism. He's the young Charles Barkley. He's the young Mark Henry. He is the young Shaquille O'Neal. He is D's hilarious friend. He is Ace's best sibling. Shout out to the beautiful and great Ace. Congratulations on what you accomplished. I won't reveal it. I'm going to keep that confidential. But congratulations on everything. He is Mama Champ's #1 favorite son. Shout out to Mama Champ. You still need prayer with the Dallas Cowboys. You need to tell Jerry Jones, get his act together and stop letting his ego get in the way. But that's a story for another day. He is the reason why his father calls him Champ for a reason. He is the big fella. I see he's got some posters. I mean, on his right, I mean, the Wall of Fame. I mean, he's got the AI, the Kobe, the LeBron. He's got the Kobe poster. He's got Hakeem and Shaq. And of course, my GOAT, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He is the big fella. One and only from Columbus, Georgia's own. Undisputed world champ. And please go follow him for more WNBA and women's basketball content. How you doing, man?
I'm good. And thank you for that. Ace Mob, congratulations. You are a homeowner. Congratulations, Ace Mob, man. My sister Ace, thank you for everything that you have done for me. I would not be here if it was not for Ace because, yeah, that's who I talk on the phone with the minute I get off work. We talk about work. We talk about a little bit of everything. So I call her my most trusted advisor. Well, one of my most trusted advisors. So, man, look, congratulations, Ace. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Heading to that Atlanta United soccer game right after we celebrate your home going. So it's always good for Black women to own their homes and stuff like that. They're one of the highest owners in the United States of America. Again, I will say this again. Black and brown women are the highest rated home owners in the land. So guess what? Love to see y'all owning y'all own homes, buying y'all own land, making that move, that money, as my sister would say, and doing y'all thing out here, showing the world that y'all can do. Highest homeowners, best educated, and she living in the city of Atlanta. Can't beat that, man. So, hey, shout out to the family. Can't wait to see y'all tomorrow. Make sure I got gas and did everything I was supposed to. But the minute I got off work, then
You need
Cain.
gas money.
Hey,
Need some gas money.
man, look. Oh yeah, gas like $3. Well, where I would, gas was like $3.25.
Man, you
So
know how expensive gas is nowadays, man.
Celebrate that, boy, because it's high down here in Madison, boy.
Yeah, no, because thanks to Governor Kemp, I give that shout to Governor Kemp. He took away that gas. He put that gas tax and took it away. So gas was like $3.25 where I went. So it was probably some cheap ass gas, but I'm gonna make it to where I need to go anyway. But it's good to see everything going on, man. Good to see on Sports PSP podcast. Good to see everybody here. Everybody doing great. Sports PSP with the fresh braids going on, man. Do it for the ladies. Do it for the gram. Do it for
No,
Ness.
I
Do it
am
for
not
everybody.
Nessa and JoJo. Y'all not trying to get me to share my
I,
cookies.
look, I wasn't even going. No. I
See,
wasn't even going there. I wasn't even going there. That's
I'm
your
going
fault.
there.
That is
You're
your
not.
fault today.
I'm not putting my cookies out there. The great JoJo immediately right after when I posted that video, she face called me and told me at some point you're gonna do it. I'm like, in the words of Vince McMahon, there is no chance in hell you ain't getting me to see my cookies unless if I'm an OnlyFans subscriber. So that ain't happening.
Hey man, look, PSP man. I'm just saying, man. Ain't nothing wrong with going out there hitting the helicopter for with just one time, man. Pull out.
How am I supposed to? How am I supposed to explain this to my mama? How am I supposed to explain this to my mama? My mama's not. My mama's gonna be mad. My mama's gonna be mad at me.
Put that robe on like the Nature Boy used to. You remember on the plane ride from hell? Put that robe on like the Nature Boy, and with the Versace.
What the hell do I need? What? I need baby oil. I need honey and some shit.
I'm just saying. Put the Versace robe on with the Versace shoes on and hit the helicopter for just a couple times. They'll be satisfied then, man. Come on, man. Do it for the ladies, man.
God, I'm done. I'm done. Helicopter.
I mean, look, they asking for it, man. They go ahead and hit the helicopter for them one time.
No.
I'm sorry, Mama.
No. Hell fucking no. If I want to see somebody naked, I want to see Lori Harvey naked or Salma Hayek naked. You ain't getting me to be naked out on them streets. No. That's not happening.
No space for y'all tonight, ladies.
Oh God!
No,
got me crying,
I'm not.
bro.
You are not. My mama is gonna get pissed. You are not trying to get. The worst thing you can do is make a black woman angry. No, I'm not making a black woman angry. No.
Yeah, you don't need to do that because it did
Oh
bother
my
come down here
God.
with my ass. And because she gonna think I influenced you to do it. So, Bob, I'm sorry, but I don't want to influence little brother to do wrong.
And besides, you want D to get involved? No,
hell no. No, I'm gonna forget I said any of that. So
God.
matter of fact, we gonna edit that out later on. What the hell?
Oh my God. This boy had me literally crying, bro. Oh my God.
Just saying, I kid all the time, but yeah, man, do it for the ladies. Man.
I was good, but then you dropped. I was good, but then you dropped the helicopter line. I was dead.
Look,
that was
man,
it.
If they ask you for the cookies, you got to hit the helicopter at least a couple times. You got to hit the Nature Boy Ric Flair just a couple of times. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
What's next? You want me? What's next? You want me to be Quagmire all of a sudden? You want me to be Quagmire?
I didn't say be Quagmire. I say be the Nature Boy. Like I said, put the Versace robe on. Get you some loafers because I know you got them expensive ass loafers, them red bottom loafers. Step out there, open the robe up, and just do the helicopter. They'll throw, have them throw money and shit at you.
Listen. I know I'm from Jersey, and I know I'm bougie like a motherfucker. But no, you ain't getting me to do that shit. Why don't you do that shit? Since you like modeling on all that stuff, I mean, that's Destination XL. They could use you as an ambassador.
Hey, look, give me 1 year. I'm working on my weight loss right now. When I get my six pack, and ladies, I give you a couple of helicopters and a couple of airplanes, and I even jump in the pool for you with my red bottoms on.
What's next? You gonna bring them baby oil? You gonna bring them some?
I'm gonna bring that with my stereo outside. You know what I'm saying? And everything. We're gonna do it like the world. We're gonna like the world class wrecking crew. Turn off the lights. We're gonna play that outside while I do it to it. You know that song by Dr. Dre?
Oh my God.
Don't. Before you turn off the lights, let's get one. I'm gonna sing for them and everything. That's what we gonna do.
Why don't you just play the Snoop Dogg Ain't No Fun song?
Oh man, hey man, look, man, give it to them all, bro.
But always a pleasure having y'all on the podcast, man.
Oh God!
Right now, over 137,000 subscribers. We just only gonna keep on pushing. We're only gonna keep on doing. Oh, shout out to everyone else. Shout out to the Pitch Grid. Shout out to Cheesehead. Shout out to the JV podcast. Shout out to the Three Guys Football podcast. If y'all interested in more content creation besides sports, PSP, BRF Sports, Undisputed World Champ, please go give them a follow. Also, go check out Broad Sports, Brandon from the Block, Qerim, Harrison, Roundup, Luis Knows Tunes, Hot Take Kenny. Also, for music stuff, check out Hot Take Kenny. And then, of course, with BRF, because baseball season is here. Fellas, go follow BRF on TikTok, especially with YouTube. And, of course, for women's basketball, follow the big fella, Undisputed World Champ. But, fellas, man, let's talk about some March Madness. Of course, women's, men's, that shot by UConn. I don't know what Duke, I mean, the biggest person that was happy as hell was one other than this gentleman on my top right, undisputed world champ, because we all know he's a North Carolina Tar Heels fan. He was happy as hell to see Duke fucked up and fumbled the bag. And that's exactly what
Mhm.
happened on that last possession, man. If you are Duke, man, you got to be demoralized because you could have won the game. You could have wasted down the clock. UConn could have fouled you. You could have probably hit 2 free throws, made one of the two or both of them. Could have put the game to OT. But that careless possession, now UConn is in the Final Four. Of course, right now for women's basketball, we got South Carolina versus UConn, the rematch of the national championship game. Big fella, your thoughts on this March Madness?
Duke surrendered a 19-point lead.
Kind of like your Tar Heels?
Yeah.
Damn.
Now, in the great words of Journey, who's crying now? So, shout out to Journey, by the way. But it's hard, man. It's hard to see something like that because you just knew who they just had the game won. And I hate the fact that the coach didn't understand. Look, you just had the ball stolen in a very, very critical spot. Why couldn't you call a timeout at that point or something of that nature? So there's a lot to be digested when it comes to Duke at this point. Thus far, the last couple of years, they've had huge leads and surrendered several of them. They've surrendered several double-digit leads over the course of the past few years in March Madness. So they have to make some changes as far as coaching is concerned. I'm not saying change the coach, but until Duke wins one, they're always going to be under the shadow of Coach K because people are going to always say, "Well, Coach K would have did this. Coach K would have did that. Coach K would have did that," and that also shows the fact that that critical still happened. That shows the brilliance in coaching of Coach Hurley. That
Mm-hmm.
shows the brilliance in coaching for Coach Hurley. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can finally become a dynasty. We haven't seen a dynasty in college sports as far as basketball in a good while. You'll see a lot of powerhouses, but to see a true dynasty, 3 out of 4 years, national champions, that would be something amazing. And he's proven everybody right, even though now looking back on it, he would have had Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James. He's proven everybody right that he was correct in going back to
To
UConn
UConn.
instead of taking that big time contract from my Los Angeles Lakers. Now, granted, I would have loved to have had Coach Hurley. Not no shade to JJ Redick. JJ Redick is doing a hell of a job, and shout out to Luka. I know he's hurt, grade 2 hamstring injury, but and they're in a good position, by the way. He's just going to be out for the rest of the season. I think that we can make a run at least to the Western Conference Finals, but I'm not going to get my hopes up behind there to be delusional.
Well, you're gonna have
But
to expect more from DeAndre Ayton.
I, that's a whole nother. That's a whole. It'll take me all day long to explain. He's gonna have to do better, but that's another story for another day. But I really believe that we can make some noise in the playoffs. But Coach Hurley is proving that he was absolutely right at his assessment in going back and building something special. On the verge of winning 3 national championships at the Division I level, that puts him in good company with Bobby Knight, Roy Williams, just to name a few. So I'm happy that he's building this powerhouse program. The rich got richer when it came to UConn basketball because right now they are one of the two schools that are in the Final Four. You got Coach Gino on the women's side who's playing right now. Looks like they're beating South Carolina at this point. And you have a Coach Hurley on the men's side. Shout out to Pitch Grid, by the way.
Shout out to Pitch
And
Grid.
I'm excited to see it, man. I'm excited to see it. I hate that I really feel like it. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe since y'all are the brilliant minds of the sports world, y'all are just as brilliant, if not more brilliant than I am. I feel like the coverage on March Madness have been kind of lackluster. I mean, the game itself has been good, but it's talking about
Except the women's has actually been it's been popping, and especially even though I digress, champ. I was checking on your TikTok video. Shout out to Artie Crooks from the Iowa State. This transfer portal, as you mentioned, man, it's getting crazy.
Yeah, it is.
You had damn near the whole Iowa squad left, and nearly the entire Tennessee squad. They jumped in the transfer portal. Audie, sweetheart, Jazzy Davison, Juju Watkins, Audie Crooks.
Oh my God.
National championship. It never rains in Southern California. So go out there to California, win your national championship.
Or the other SC.
That's stacking the deck. That's stacking the deck too damn much. You know, Coach Staley has 5 McDonald's All-Americans on her team on an average every single.
You can never go wrong with someone, especially a proven commodity like Audie Crooks.
And for all of you talking heads out there, and I'm glad you brought up Mrs. Audie Crooks, by the way, Miss Audie Crooks, by the way. For all you,
I apologize.
No, don't worry about it, Miss Audie Crooks, by the way. No, that was my fault, not yours. For all you talking heads out there who's always going to say, oh, she's a liability on defense. Not everybody is a two-way player. A lot of players get praised, for their offensive brilliance. When you saw that last game, she scored over half of her team's points. Only one other player on that team had double digits as far as points was concerned. So for everybody who's going to nitpick her and say she's a liability defensively, go and play in traffic, because guess what? Her offense is enough. Not everybody's a two-way player. Caitlin Clark is not a two-way player. Kelsey Plum is not a two-way player. It's very rare in the sport of basketball where you have great two-way players. So, she went to Kansas State?
No,
he's hoping.
He's just being facetious.
He's hoping.
Okay, I was about to say, damn.
Yeah, he's hoping and coping.
I think he was trying to get you to have a heart attack. That's what he was trying to get you to do.
That Audie Crooks goes to USC. You have Juju Watkins. She looks like she's getting healthy. She's on the camp for USA basketball. Her and Paige Beckers, by the way, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, as well as Kelsey Gray. They're not in Team USA camp this time around. Shout out to them. They did everything they could during the qualifying rounds. Caitlin Clark was the MVP, by the way. And it was good to see Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark working together on that court, by the way. But I digress. But if you want to win a championship, Audie Crooks, you, Freshman of the Year, Jazzy Davison, and Juju Watkins. Championship.
That means Juju's gonna have to play point.
Yeah.
Juju's gonna have to play point between the three. Audie's gonna have to go out and dominate like she does in the paint. By the way, has a nice mid-range game as well, too.
She got a hell of a mid-range game. That's why I get so mad when people say, well, she's a liability defensively. Not every big is a commodity defensively. Some players
Fish Grid was just being facetious. He was just joking. But I understand, champ, if they want to see more improvement with Audie Crooks on defense, she can show a little bit more effort on the defensive side. She can get better, but you can't ask her to be something that she's not. Could she show more effort, more improvement on that type of side? Sure. But it's going to take her time, and give her some time. She's young. So let's wait and see.
Isn't it ironic, though, that they give Audie Crooks hell for not being great on the defensive side, but they give Angel Reese hell for being good on the defensive side? And don't you find that kind of funny?
But what does that tell you?
Narrative, like we always say. I see what y'all like doing. Y'all like to nitpick and shit like that, but hey, there's neither here nor there.
Well, if you're looking for narrative, I mean, Jason Whitlock runs narratives more than anybody else, but that's a story for another day. I digress.
We did like 8 segments last week on Mr. Whitlock.
We may have to do one again because what he recently said about one Ryan Clark, which that is just deplorable, but I digress. But BRF.
Why you had to bring him up, man? That man.
I can't.
He gives
news. It's his birthday. It's his birthday month. So
all All I got to say is I'm gonna change up one of my favorite movie lines. Shout out to the great Mike Epps from It's All About the Benjamins. I'm gonna have to change up. No, not It's All About the Benjamins. Take it back. It's Friday after next. Bevo Lottie got as much head as he got body. But that's another conversation for another day. No, another conversation for another day. But I digress. But anyway,
You could just tell them his birthday gift was just Joy Taylor. No, wait. I mean, he's too unvaluable to have something like that. But
boy, he'll fumble that just as quick as that ESPN bag. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But anyway,
Bro, that's enough.
hey, I'm just saying. Hey,
That's
okay.
enough.
But anyway, I digress. Yeah, the the March Madness coverage on the men's side could be a little better, just from the standpoint we're about to get the game of the year in one of the semifinals with the Arizona Wildcats taking on the Michigan Wolverines. I mean, good God, like what more can you ask for in a semifinal game? People, I think it's a de facto national title game. No, but when you think about the quality NBA level players that you're about to see on that court between Arizona and Michigan, that's going to be a very, very, very fun matchup to watch. Seeing two evenly matched teams like that going together in the semifinals, bro. In the semifinals. And this is one of the reasons why and shout out to Flash as well on like our last episode of UGSP. We were talking about Dan Hurley, and we was talking about his where he would rank in the annals of college basketball history if he goes out and he gets this third chip in 4 years. In 4 years, I think it vaults him in the. If you want to talk about tiers of college basketball great coaches, I think this puts him above guys like Calipari and and coaches like that who aren't as lucky to have like more national championships. I mean, Dan Hurley is already getting three, and it's not just that he's getting three at UConn; is who he's following. Basically, you're following Jim Calhoun, bro. You're following one of the greats, and to come in and basically almost pick up where he left off. I mean, that's a testament for how good you are already as a coach, but also getting out there in the recruiting fields and just being able to find the talent and bring them into UConn. And it's like this continued all systems go. So shout out to Coach Hurley, man. He's doing this thing, and I'm kind of rooting for him to get 3 and 4 years because I am from as a guy who's seen his fair share of dynasties in sports, and I know I'm not the only one. I I saw the Yankees of the late '90s. We saw the Lakers of the early 2000s. Heck, I mean, throw a couple of underrated dynasties out there. I saw the San Francisco Giants of the early to mid 2010s, the Spurs as well. Winning the five championships the way they did, winning one basically every other year, winning five chips. I mean, shout out to those teams that are able to find consistency, whether it's being able to keep the same roster around for another number of years, or to be able to kind of adapt with the times as far as like the roster turnover, and but still being able at the end of the day to build around certain cores and just finding different pieces to fit around them and still making it work. So shout out. Um anytime you get a women's final four and you get UConn and South Carolina going up, I mean that's like that ain't even David versus Goliath. That's Goliath versus Goliath. I mean, you got Gino, who's like the greatest coach in women's college basketball history, and then you got Dawn Staley coming in, kind of putting her flag in the ground, sticking her claim as the next, the one that wants to really take that mantle away from Gino. And I mean that women's Final Four I feel like both Final Fours are pretty stacked. So I'm excited. I'm excited with both of these Final Fours, and I'm ready. I'm ready to see what these semifinals and ultimately these national championship games bring us in terms of quality ball, in terms of seeing these coaches, the players executing, being able to adapt. First to second half adjustments. I'm ready for it because I feel like the Final Four should be the ultimate test of these teams as far as understanding X's and O's, but then at the same time, it gets late in the game. Who are those that are going to go out there and really just understand situations and scenarios and, making the right call? Because I go back to that UConn Duke game. That game, Duke was playing there. I got to give it to him early on in that game, and then going like mid into the third quarter. I felt like Duke was about to just run away with it. But shout out to Dan Hurley for making adjustments. You could see late in the game, UConn was starting to really put more pressure on Duke as far as like pressuring them behind the 3 point line, making them pass the, make that extra pass, trying to make them think on the fly. Just you could see it, and then the offensive execution with UConn picking it up, and that three. I was at home. I was with family watching that game, and then we get those final seconds, and they're about ready to make that inbound pass. They make it, and I'm just thinking to myself, bro, even if you don't get it past the half court line, just hold the ball, take a foul, do something, use as much of the clock as possible. And then he goes, and instead of making the bounce pass, he tries to go over it. He tries to go over him. He's able to swat it, and then as soon as it left his hand, I was like, yeah, it's over. It's bad when you see a 3 point shot like that in a situation like that when you know it's about to go in, and that thing goes nothing but nylon. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm telling you, man, my whole house screamed. I was in a different room watching the game from other family. The whole house screamed when that 3 point shot went in. I'm talking about it was one of the craziest things I've heard in a minute in any of my family's house watching sports. That was insane. But this is what March Madness is about. At the end of the day, it's for moments like that. It's the magic of it. It's the beauty of it. It's just the aura of March Madness. That's what makes it stand out from other postseason events in terms of major sports. It's lived up to the billing. This is especially, particularly on the men's side, it's been one of the best men's tournaments we've seen from an entertainment standpoint in a long time. Whether it's the uncanny upsets, just sheer good basketball. That's I love seeing good basketball, and this men's tournament has been absolutely really good basketball. And now we get into the nitty gritty of the Final Four, and these teams about to go at it. I'm hyped. I'm excited. I'm ready to see who's gonna take this thing home, man. I'm excited. I'm ready for it.
Let me ask you.
Absolutely, man. Go ahead, champ.
Can I ask y'all something real quick?
Go
Shoot
ahead.
it.
If Dan Hurley, Coach Hurley, wins his third championship, who would you put him over? Would you put him over Jared Tarkanian, guys like John Thompson, Jim Boeheim, Nolan Richardson? Put him over
I'll
those?
put him over Boeheim.
Okay.
I'm most okay now. I would probably put him over as great as a coach as Boeheim was. I think I think you have to look at the coaches that are like that only have like one chip. Like you look at the Nolan Richardsons of the world, the Boeheims of the world. With Hurley already getting three in this kind of time frame, particularly in this day and age with the NIL and the transfer portal, and these players just jumping around to these colleges like hopscotch, be able to maintain a consistency level like this. I mean, you have to vault him, and we're not talking about these coaches because I mean, even then, you don't know. I mean, we don't necessarily we don't know what all was going on behind the scenes with coaches like back in those days. I mean, players at the end of the day were probably still getting paid. They were probably still getting there. They were living lavish, under the table. Ain't nobody gonna sit here and say they weren't because we know a lot of them were. But just in this day and age when it's all out in the open and it's easier for these players to just go and for him to really maintain a level like this, I think you have to put him above like the Bayheims, the Richardsons, the Tarkanians, and it's like they got a lot of wins, they have longevity, but I'm still looking at being able to maintain a high level, being able to win like championships like this. He gets 3 and 4 years. We got to start having conversations with Dan Hurley. We have to.
All right, Dan. I just had to
Definitely.
ask the question.
No, oh, I mean, I know you love asking questions, and that's why I got no problem with it. But who wins it all
You
for
ask
the?
you ask good questions too, bro. You dig them.
Yeah, I mean, last week you remember you did a start bench cut between Patrick Willis, Brian Urlacher, and Ray Lewis for. Oh, I'm sorry, Luke Kuechly for start bench cut with linebackers. That was a heck of a question when we were discussing babyface or heel. But women's side, it seems to me that UConn may win it all. I get tired of UConn, but they're probably going to win it again. Wow.
They're
Really?
down by 4. Yeah, they're down by 4 points.
Okay, but still, anything could happen. Only time will tell.
Anything would happen, but you don't. Hey, I'm gonna just be real. When it comes to South Carolina, you can't get down by much.
No, because South Carolina, they're looking to get revenge after what happened to them last year in the national championship against UConn. But still, I can't deny what with Azzy Fudd. I got UConn, and then for the men's, I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna go Michigan. I want to
Yeah,
see
that's
my
the thing.
Wolverines win.
I think it's long. I think
What
it's
would it
overdue.
mean
I
to
think it's long
Michigan?
overdue for Michigan.
What would it mean to Michigan if they were to win? Because the thing is,
You
here's
had an
my
opportunity to win back-to-back national championships with the Fab Five. Unfortunately, you had the chance in 2012, but then that didn't work out, and then 2017. So for a school like Michigan to win it, and you just a few years ago you just won a national championship in football. For that program, can they get over the national championship curse? Because that's what it appears with Michigan. The Fab Five with Chris Webber, Juwan Howard, Jalen Rose, Jimmy King, Ray Jackson, with all them players, that's a hell of a team, and still couldn't win a national championship.
yeah,
People, when they think of the Fab Five, as great as they were, the controversial non-timeout call by Chris Webber,
yeah.
they're gonna think of that. They're gonna think of a lot of key moments. Trey Burke. I think for Michigan to win, this will be the way for them to end the curse. I think.
Yeah. You know, Rob Pelinka was on that team too, right?
Yeah.
Rob Pelinka was on that team too. So I think it would mean a lot for them to win. And look, with the NC2A giving Reggie Bush his Heisman
He's
back,
been back.
a
Rightfully
lot of
so.
people, getting awards back. Give the Fab Five back their banners, especially after they win a national championship. If they're able to win that national championship, bring the entire school back, bring Coach Fisher back, bring all of those players back, and give them back their banners. Because guess what? Those ghosts are long gone. And if it wasn't for the Fab Five as far as basketball, where would Michigan be? Probably, granted, they won a national championship with Glenn Rice, but they were not as popular as the Fab Five. That tells
They
you everything you need to
changed.
know
They
about the Fab Five.
changed basketball on and outside the court. Let's not forget them baggy shorts.
Yeah, them black shoes. I had a pair of those shoes. I had a store. You let me tell that story about how my father gave me those Fab Five shoes. Shout out to PSP and my father, by the way. But yeah, I'll never forget the Fab Five Nike, man. Fab Five Nike, all black socks. That was cool. But I think it would mean a hell of a lot to Michigan in order to win that. Broken curses. I mean, all the all those great basketball teams that tried to get it will be equivalent to to me personally. Y'all remember when the New York Liberty finally won their first WNBA title?
Mm-hmm.
I think it
Yeah.
would be equivalent to that, but a little bit higher.
Given the rich program and tradition and culture. So yeah, definitely.
I agree with that.
Definitely. But fellas, unfortunately, you still got to keep on with basketball. Jaden Ivey, player from the Chicago Bulls, who was traded from Detroit, he was released after he made some anti-LGBTQ comments. And look, here's my thing regarding the whole situation. In the words of Ice-T, as you always say, big fella, freedom of speech, but
Watch
there's
what you say.
consequences. Yeah, be careful what you say because there's consequences. I do not have a problem with the Chicago Bulls letting him go because it wasn't just because of the comments. It's also because he hasn't been out on the court. He's been injured. He's had durability problems. So production and tolerance. When production is high, so is tolerance. But the moment when production drops, or in Jaden Ivey's situation, you can't produce, or if we could find somebody else to replace you, out you go. That's not just in sports. That's just in life. No matter where you go, if you can't produce and if they can find somebody else to replace you, out you go. My problem with Jaden Ivey is the people that he attacked, the LGBTQ community. Look, I understand that he's a Christian following the Lord and the Bible. And look, I want to be very careful. But just because you follow the Lord in the Bible and that's all well and good doesn't necessarily make you a great person. Because a lot of people try to use the Bible and cherry pick. The other problem that Jaden Ivey, somebody, whether his agent, parent, or any representation, they should have told him, you do realize with these comments, especially where you are, where you play for, Chicago, known for support for the LGBTQ community. Reading it right here on Google. Chicago is a top inclusive LGBTQ plus destination featuring the nation's first recognized gay village, Norfolstead, Boys Town, and a vibrant scene in Andersonville and Uptown. The city offers the Midwest's largest community center, which is Center on Halsted, a year-round pride, re-owned nightlife like sidetrack, and extensive history at the Gerber/Hart, Liberty, and Arches. Key LGBTQ neighborhoods and highlights. Norfolstead, which is located in East Lakeview, is a bustling hub for LGBTQ nightlife, dining, and shopping. Andersonville, known for its cozy, community-focused atmosphere and high concentration of LGBTQ and owned businesses. Uptown offers a diverse historic scene with queer-friendly venues and cafes. Edgewater, which is another popular, welcoming neighborhood for the community. And plenty of bars and events, plenty of drag shows, community centers, services, history. So Jaden Ivey apparently was not aware of the history of Chicago, of the LGBTQ community. And look, the NBA, they may feel like, okay, Jaden Ivey, you have a right to say and feel however you want to feel. And you're entitled to your opinion. But just because you are entitled to your opinion does not mean there's no consequences. And the reason why it's able, Jaden Ivey, you were able to move on is because you haven't been producing. The reason why Kyrie Irving, champ, regardless of the controversy that he had in Brooklyn at the time, remember the tweet, the promotion of the tweet? At the end of the day, Kyrie Irving is still one of the top guards in the NBA. And because he was producing, Brooklyn couldn't let him go until ultimately they traded him to Dallas. The reason why Kyrie was still able to remain on the team, because production. And Jaden Ivey also had to be careful. And apparently he didn't look at the previous past issues. Big fella BRF, do you remember the situation with Miles Leonard? Remember what happened? Remember why he was let go by the Miami Heat? Remember that live stream?
Yeah, I think
when
so.
he used that anti-Semitic slur.
I think I remember that.
Pat Riley, you know Miami is known for a Jewish population.
Basically.
And let's not forget, and also too, speaking of the LGBTQ, Mark Jackson. Why isn't he no longer a head coach in the NBA? And that's not because of production. He is responsible for creating the culture at Golden State. Why isn't he in the NBA?
Because people talk about him as far as his religion and his religious beliefs.
Yeah.
And not only
among other things.
Yeah. And also, where is he coaching? Golden State, the Bay Area, Oakland. And you know how they are with the LGBTQ community.
Yes, a hub, just like in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So
read the room, guys.
apparently Jaden Ivey clearly was unaware of the history. Do I believe Jaden Ivey's career is over? I hope not. I hope he has a chance to come back into the NBA. Clearly, the guy has problems. He has mental health issues. I mean, champ, if you go and if you look at the podcast that he was in 2025, in which he admitted when he was a kid, he was SA'd. Yeah. Go look that up. He admitted it. He's had some mental health issues. He's had a lot of problems in his life. But the comments that he made about the LGBTQ community, am I surprised he was let go by the Chicago Bulls? No. Because you make those types of comments and the fact that you're not out on the court and producing, out you go. And they're going to move on from you. And if they keep you on the team, knowing that you're not productive, and the things that you said about the LGBTQ community is going to be a constant distraction to the organization and to the team. You know, the Chicago press is going to be after the Bulls organization. They're going to drill them and ask questions. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a national conversation. Mm-hmm. So whoever wants to go, what are y'all thoughts regarding the whole Jaden Ivey thing?
Ironically, he was released and his jersey sold out immediately.
Kind of like with Jonathan Isaac. Remember when Jonathan Isaac took the stance that he took with the national anthem during the bubble?
Yep. And remember the hockey player, he said he wasn't celebrating Pride Day. And his jersey shot up the charts. Look.
Or remember Harrison Butker, the kicker from the Kansas City Chiefs? Remember what he said?
His jersey sales went up. Look, I'm going to just be real. And I will be careful with my comments, but at the same time, I will be honest. Guys, here's what we got to stop doing. We got to stop using religion to spread hate. I understand religious beliefs. I read the Bible. I believe in the Lord. But he didn't say one time in that Bible to spread hate and to be hateful. It says love thy neighbor. I condemn them. So, and the thing is, he is without sin cast the first stone. Mm-hmm. Do y'all know that it is in the Bible, it is wrong to eat shrimp, wrong to have tattoos, wrong to gossip, wrong to curse? We commit sin on a regular basis. Hell, in the Old Testament, it is wrong for women to wear pants. It says in that Bible, do not wear women's garments. Do not wear men's garments. So we commit so many sins on a regular basis that we couldn't even fathom the fact that if we were to dive deep into ourselves, we wouldn't even realize how tainted we really are. So stop using the Bible to spread hate. That's not what that is for. That's not what that is for. Religious beliefs, I understand. I understand that completely. Like I said, I believe in God. Guess what? I grew up in the Christian faith. I grew up in Baptist faith. Yes. But do I go around spewing a lot of anti anything slurs? No. That's not my place to judge. I'm not the judge. I'm not the jury, and I'm not the executioner. We only got one judge. That's just being real. It's not your job to judge. So you keep trying to. The thing is, people use stuff to spew hate when it's really in their heart in the first place. Let's just be clear. It's kind of like somebody doing something stupid to you and say, "Well, I was drunk." You want to do that for a long time. Drunk thoughts speak sober mind. A drunk man speaks with conscious mind. So stop using that Bible. Use it what it was for. To spread hope, spread love, to spread joy. And to spread the word. Not spread hate. That's the thing. A lot of people try to camouflage the Bible. And you see this especially in the Bible Belt. You see this in the Bible Belt a hell of a lot. You see it in parents. You see it in churches. You see it a little bit of everywhere. You see everybody wants to cherry pick. They want to cherry pick a little bit of everything in order to say, well, that's wrong. Well, it's also wrong for you to go out here and eat shrimp, but I see you with a damn seafood bowl in your hand every time I look at you, taking pictures on Instagram like you're an Instagram baddie. So is that what you're doing wrong too? Are we going to talk about that? I'm just asking. Because if I see you with a seafood bowl and you play there every time I look at it and say it in the Bible that it's wrong, then I don't want to hear you say shit about nobody else. Clean out your closet first, and then you can ask somebody to clean out theirs. Until then, the great words of Barry Bonds, it's TFU. So yeah, stop using that Bible to spread hate. That's not what it's for. Stop trying to cherry pick. We see this what he's did, and people can attack me all they want to. We see this every day with parents. When they say we see this every day with parents, a disobedient child don't come to no good end. Well, it also say in that damn Bible, do not provoke thy children into anger. It also says that. But people conveniently leave that out. So a lot of Bible thumping that goes around, especially in the Bible Belt, it kind of is intriguing considering a lot of hate is spewed in God's name when that's not what his name is for. So stop using Christianity to spread hate. That's not what the faith is for. That's not what the cloth is for, and that's not what the religion is for. God didn't preach hate. And guess what? There, if you go back and dive deep in stories, some of the greatest entities in the Bible had flaws. Look no further than David. Look no further than David. People always talk about the fact that he destroyed Goliath with a mere stone. Do y'all know what happened after he killed him with that stone? Y'all don't know what happened? He cut his head off. He cut his head off. And it was also rumored that he killed Goliath's family as well. So, there's a lot of drunkards. There's a lot of killers in the Bible. And yet God brought out the best in them. So who are we to say in modern day times that you're not worthy when there's so many entities or so many beings in the Bible that have been treacherous in their ways in wickedness at one point in their life? And even when they reached the pinnacle, remember what David did. Remember, he sent one guy off into the war so he can have his wife. This is David now. So let's stop with all the judginess. Let's stop with all the posturing. And let's stop with all of the self-righteousness. Because that self-righteousness is not going to get a lot of you guys anywhere. There's only one judge. Now, is correction good, especially when you see somebody doing wrong? Do I expect both of you, if you go out there, you see me all the time doing something stupid, and you see me drinking myself into a stupor, do I expect y'all to correct me? Yes, absolutely. But do I expect anybody to judge and scold and do all of that? No. So that's what people need to stop doing. Stop using Bible as at your convenience and cherry picking things just so you can be seen as self-righteous. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So I'll leave it at that.
BRF.
As me and Champ are fellow Georgia residents, we've seen it all the time. And this is why I don't get hatred towards another group of people, regardless of what, skin color, sexuality, just anything. Whatever you speak against, and Champ know I'm about to tell the truth, and I'm about to say this.
What you got to deal with.
Exactly. What you don't like 9 times out of 10 gonna end up in your family. And Champ knows I'm telling the truth. Champ knows I'm telling the truth. 9 times out of 10, what you don't like is gonna end up in your family in one way or another. You speak out against gay people. Hi son, how you doing? It's gonna end up in there one way or another. You don't like if you racist or whatever against another group of people, your son or your daughter gonna come home with what you don't like. It always seems to happen that way in Georgia. Well, really in the South, but Champ knows exactly what I'm talking about because I know he's seen it in Columbus. I've definitely seen it here in Madison. It's a fact. Exactly. So it's crazy to me how people in the big 2026 can still go around hating people for no reason. It's stupid. It's crazy and it's ignorant and it really should be no place for it. It's crazy. Like speaking specifically on the Jaden Ivey situation though, I've heard this term thrown around a little bit and I've tried to dig a little bit. Religious psychosis. They've been throwing this term around a little bit. And you see it with him because it's like, look, I'm not about to sit here and knock a brother for really kind of being in tune with himself as far as like his religious beliefs and speaking his truth. But there comes a time where you kind of need to pull back and understand, like there are some things you really don't need to say. You regardless of what you believe in, regardless of what you stand for, that doesn't give you a place or a right to disrespect people just because you believe in a certain thing. Because we have to understand the way things are nowadays, and that there's like we I and honestly I've learned this. I've seen this a little bit myself, and it's like I've had to grow in this a little bit. It's like you may not like agree with how someone is and all those stuff. You might not go that way, but sometimes you have to look past that, and you still have to analyze the heart and the mind of the person and how they stand for, and as far as like how and like a genuine feel, and just like how real a person is. Okay, because like what I'm saying, I am very much a straight individual, but let me tell you something. Some of the realest, coolest, outstanding people I've met in my life are are gay people. Are gay people. Whether it's growing up through public schooling, whether it was attending Georgia Southern University, or just being out in the real world and life in general, you have to look past certain things, and you just have to look at shout out Martin Luther King. You got to look at the content of somebody's character and what they stand for. And I think that's one thing a lot of people are really forgetting about nowadays in this time and age. We we people we got to stop judging people. And it's like I kind of that opening salvo I throw out there. What you don't like, it's gonna end up by you one way or another. So some of these things are just a little outlandish for me. I think he's kind of going through a phase right now, and it's like speak your truth, but delve in it a little bit more, dive in it a little bit more, understand things like because one of the craziest things I've heard with this whole situation, another reason why he was cut from the team. So apparently he went up to the coaches and everything. This man said Jesus healed him and he was ready to play. So what they did was they took him, gave him an MRI. You're done. Shut him down for the rest of the season. So I'm kind of understanding. I'm you
He you
good.
you
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 were
know
good,
he
sir.
he also claimed that Catholic Catholicism was a false religion.
And my thing, yeah, I did hear about that too. See, and for me, it's not necessarily the religion; it's the people who represent it. Like I said, it's the people. It's like because I was at a time in my life where even though I was still like very much a believer, my belief had kind of dipped because of going to church at the time and people who I thought were supposed to be leaders of that church not necessarily leading like they should have been. And it kind of set me back a little bit. It kind of dipped me down. But then it was like going to Georgia, it was going to a university like Georgia Southern. And shout out to the Christian Campus Fellowship at Georgia Southern University, really helped me kind of rebuild and reestablish my faith and help me to understand that it's not about judging people. It's about looking past differences and understanding in one way or another you're the same in a way, shape, or form. You're the same because ultimately you just want to get the most out of this and you want to do right. So I just I really can't stand it. Being like, I was raised with a Baptist background myself. I am a Baptist myself. It gets on my nerves when I see these people nowadays just thump that Bible and weaponize it in such a way that it really kind of sheds a dark cloud and a dark light on all of those. You know, that's what they got to understand. It's like, people will be like, "Oh no, I can't stand Christians because y'all do this, and this." And we should know it's not everyone. It's one of those things like, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. If they ain't talking about you, you shouldn't get offended, because at the end of the day, a hit dog will holler. So if somebody comes out and says something and it offends you, look at yourself in the mirror, because they're probably talking about you. We just have to get better as a society, looking looking past what's different about a person, and just understanding who they are at the end of the day as a person. They're seeking acceptance. They're wanting to feel some type of way. They're wanting to build something for themselves. They want to enjoy their life just as much as the next person. And those that just want to just take away because they feel they're superior to them, just because something as simple as they believe in this, that's something that really needs to go away and really be shut down before it continues to be really outrageous and really extreme, to a point where there is absolutely a point of absolute no return. There's hope, but we can't get to that until a lot of those people have a coming to Jesus moment and realize it's not going to get them anywhere in life, treating people the way they are because of a certain way. And real quick, to go back to the Jaden Ivey situation, it's unfortunate with him because he's a talented ball player. I mean, we got glimpses of this with the Detroit Pistons. We got glimpses of this. Jaden Ivey is a talented dude. He's very talented. Um, I think he's just kind of he's definitely I feel like he's definitely lost his way. He's definitely like, he's not himself right now. We know I know he's good. He's got the potential in him. But yeah, well, it was just, he made his teammates feel uncomfortable with the preaching and all this other stuff, and it was just causing a distraction. And just a lot of things just led up to it. And another thing that people got to understand, people that are mad about the Chicago Bulls releasing him, these leagues are private entities. They can do
Yes.
they can
What
do
they
as
want
they
is their
please.
choice.
It is their choice. They can do as they please. You might not like it. They don't get. They're not worried about that. They are a private entity. They don't have to go by what you say. If they're causing a distraction, if it's going to cause them in any way, shape, or form, as far as like a money loss, they're private. They ain't got to hold you. They can let you go. They're private. They have their own rules. They have their own set of laws. They have their own regulations. They do what they're going to do, what they feel is best for their leagues. That's the NFL. That's the NBA. They're private. They do what they're going to feel is best. So if
Hey, they're
Jaden
in
Ivey's causing
control.
a distraction,
They
gotta
don't.
go.
They're in control. At the end of the day, I mean, people don't like to be told what to do, but with Jaden Ivey, clearly he needs some help. But my thing is, look, I got no problem with you following the Lord and the Bible, champ. You talk about all the time. You always say, "Good morning," as you always say, "The good Lord bless us with," and that's fine and cool. But my thing is to attack another demographic, the LGBTQ community. What did they do to you? I
Exactly.
mean, they're just minding their own business. They just want to be treated like everybody else. And BRF, you mentioned how you have friends that are from the LGBTQ community. I went to Montclair State University, one of the best schools out there as far as with the LGBTQ community. I mean, they are great people. I
Some of the
mean,
best
great
people I've
people
ever
to talk
met.
to.
Some of the best people that I've met in my life represent that community, and that's what folk got to understand.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
when you think about a lot of trailblazers in the black community, especially
Jesse Jackson, as you mentioned, champ, one of the few people that was actually you mentioned champ with Jesse Jackson helping out, bringing
Community
awareness to the
Coalition
LGBTQ community.
and some of the trans, greatest black activists back during the civil rights movement. Most notable, James Baldwin. I remember James Baldwin,
Hmm.
part of the
Hmm.
LGBTQ before it was really recognized. Remember Baynard Rustin? He was a
Mm.
reverend that was a key advisor to the Reverend Martin Luther King that got awarded. the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He was LGBTQ. So a lot of the Trailblazers who put things in places so we could have the right in order to get up on the mic today, they were LGBTQ, and yet every time you look around, especially in our community, for some damn reason, we always spewing that bullshit. So that's just,
Facts.
I'm sorry, PSP, but that's just what it
No,
is.
no,
James,
go
a lot of the
ahead.
guys who paved the way for us black men in order to, be on the mic today, in order to do whatever the hell we want to, go out here and date who we want to sit at the diner, to eat ice cream. A lot of those guys were gay. James Baldwin was gay.
Mm-hmm.
Amar Rustin was gay. Gladys Bentley, he was gay.
Exactly.
So all of this anti-LGBTQ rhetoric that we spew within our community is kind of fucking stupid, because it's like a lot of the Trailblazers that paved the way for the community, they were gay. So what are you going to do? If James Baldwin was to see you, if you could go back and, so if there was no James Baldwin, there would be a lot of this stuff going on today. So, I mean, pay respect. Respect is the minimum. And look, man, I'm going to just be real. Let's take it from being politically correct to the street real quick. Would you say that in his face? Because if you would,
your ass
go
would have
off.
gotten whooped.
Absolutely not.
If you would, well, look, I'm gonna just be real. Look, people start. Hey, let me just be real. Let's just be real, PSP. People don't fight no more. People stopped fighting when I was 7 years old. Now they got deadly weapons that can lay you down. So, be careful what you say, because not everybody's, not everybody playing. So chill. And you have a giant platform. You have a giant platform. You got to be careful about what you say. You got to be very, very careful. And people can say, well, he has a right. No, the only reason
There's
you're saying that
consequence.
because the only reason why you're saying that because you're not on the receiving end of it.
You don't get to
You're
tell
not on the
somebody
receiving
that
end of it.
you don't get to
Because
tell
if he would have
somebody
said
that's offended.
anything about, black people, he would have said anything about the Jewish community or anything of that nature, his ass would have been on the chopper block probably before it would have escaped his mouth. And people would be saying that he needs help. Now that it's another community, let's acknowledge that he needs help. So enough is enough. Like I said, don't. There's a fine line between being the man and that guy. Don't be that guy. And to your point, BRF, whatever you hate, you're going to have to deal with.
You gonna have to live with it and see it eventually.
Look at
It
Lil Boosie.
always
Lil
works
Boosie
out
is a
that way.
prime example. He always used to say LGBTQ rhetoric, and then
He's got a daughter.
exactly. So be careful when you running off at that yap, because you don't know what your people around you is hiding. Chill.
Shout out to the great Chris Rock. He has a line in one of his comedy specials that I'm not gonna repeat, but you get what I'm saying.
Exactly. So
He speaks on this perfectly and bluntly.
And look, we've seen great examples of people. Magic Johnson, his son, EJ.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Dwayne Wade. I mean, his daughter, Zaria. So just because, look, whoever, if you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, I'm gonna still treat you like everybody else. I'm gonna treat you like a human being. That's all they ask. They just want to be treated with respect. And just because if they're gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, why are we as Christians got to demean them by quoting the Bible? To your point, Champ, you talk about how the Bible says you're not supposed to have tattoos, you're not supposed to wear jeans, or you're not supposed to do certain things. We sin. Does that mean that we're horrible people? Does that mean we're going to hell? Does that mean that the good Lord doesn't love us? I just think it's ridiculous. And a lot of conservatives, they love this type of shit. Let's just call it for what it is.
They're the worst.
Well, we just can't put them with conservatives. A lot of dumbass people within the community.
Yeah, but conservatives do love that type of stuff, especially one. And I'm sorry, I hate to bring him up, but I will. One Jason Whitlock. And I get tired of a lot of people. No, I'm sorry, Chip. And in all seriousness, I get fed up whenever he brings up God and Jesus Christ. And you talk about God and Jesus Christ. What exactly that you do that is God's work? Saying that woman can't vote? Remember when you fat shamed Serena Williams? How you attack people of color? How you
Him,
attack women?
him fat shaming people is astonishing.
So how is that God's work?
I'm
How is that?
sorry.
How is that God's work? How is that God's work? And how is a shame? How is attacking people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender? How does that make you holier than thou? How does that make you better than everybody else? I mean, that's just some fucked up shit, in my opinion. Because again, they're not bothering you. They're not. I mean, look, it's Pride Month. If that's what they want to do, if they want to celebrate Pride Month, I ain't got no problem with it.
Let them do it. They ain't hurt nobody.
Yeah. What
Again,
I
like I
mean,
said, some of the most famous trailblazers, civil rights activists, and
Athletes,
women,
you name it.
even women's
yeah,
activists.
you know the
You know,
WNBA champ. You know there are a
exactly.
lot
So
of
they were gay.
One
So
of the well, so
at the
like
end of
Mark,
the day,
even like women's tennis players, like even like the Billie Jean Kings of the world, the Martina Navratilovas of the world. I mean, come on, y'all, they're everywhere.
I
They
mean,
are everywhere, making impact, regardless of what they do. Y'all just got to people just need to accept it, and they need to just
but
get
look,
past
but look,
all this hatred.
but champ, who do I consider my goat of wrestling?
Stone Cold.
Hasn't he been outspoken about the LGBTQ community? He said, I don't give a shit if two guys, two girls, hey, more power to them. And what he
Exactly.
also brings up is the hypocrisy in some churches because they allow people who've done far worse things.
Yeah.
Murderers, drug dealers, the R word, the P word.
Yeah.
And the fact is, you have no problem welcoming them with open arms, but you got a problem with people having gay marriages and stuff like that, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I
Shouldn't
said,
throw
bro, some of
stones
the
if you
biggest
live in a
trailblazers.
glass house.
Hey, hey, you shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house, and if you got a glass jaw, you should watch your mouth. In the great words of 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
So
Hmm.
I mean, it's like this. Look, at the end of the day, like I always say, some of the biggest trailblazers in the world, and that paved the way so we can have rights to this day. Civil rights movements were black, and they were part of the LGBTQ. So that is the reason why I do not spew any hate towards that community, because guess what? That's kind of like spitting in their face.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of gay civil rights activists were on the front lines with a lot of people in Alabama. And if y'all don't know this, a lot of my family is from Alabama. A lot of my roots is from Alabama. My grandfather is from Prattville, Andalusia. He worked. He retired from Prattville, but he was originally from Andalusia, Alabama. So my grandmother and my grandfather seen a lot of the stuff that was going on. They told me about a lot of stuff that was going on. And a lot of the people who were marching with Dr. King, advising Dr. King, and everything, they were gay. They were part of LGBTQ, and they were persecuted for it. All while trying to fight for different rights, not just within their own community, but for everybody else as well. So it's just time for us to put everything to bed, because guess what? The very people that you're spewing hate to, especially as a black man, is the very people who were fighting for you before you were even thought about.
BRF, I know you want. I want to ask a question.
Now I want to. It's not a question. All this talking is really kind of. I want to. I don't know if I've ever told this story before, but I want to get it out there, not only for the viewing audience, but y'all, my brothers. And it's something that kind of holds a special place in my heart, and I kind of want to get this story out here real quick. Um, Back in about, I say like 2005 or whatnot. This was before I started college at the time. I was still at home. Um, so I've actually have had the distinct honor of walking across the Edmond Pettis Bridge in Selma, Alabama. I've
Nice.
I've
Wow.
gotten the I've had the pleasure of visiting one of the SCLC conferences in Selma, Alabama. And this was and let me I got to meet Jesse Jackson. I got to meet John Lewis. I mean, it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in my life. I don't think they have it anymore, but when Jet Magazine was still the thing back in the day, they did an article. They had an article. They had a book. They had a book. One of their, I can't remember which edition it was. I don't know if they have it anymore. I wish we still had that magazine because I would show that picture. There is a picture of I think it was, yeah, like I said, this was like 21-year-old me in Jet Magazine beside like near Jesse Jackson. They were doing this thing where they were like, we had a bus, and this was like, I was going to my dad's church at the time. Shout out Springfield Missionary Baptist Church in Madison, GA. My dad's a deacon there. So they went to this SELC conference, and we were going around traveling past different landmarks and stuff like that, and they were kind of asking questions and kind of, getting in tap with, the young kids as far as like knowledge or whatnot and everything. And I was answering a lot of these questions because I took pride in studying like the civil rights and black history and all that stuff. I like learning stuff like this. So it's kind of like a reward for answering these questions. When we got to walk on the Edmond Pettis Bridge, I was on the front line. So could you imagine me, Jesse Jackson, like right here? It's like one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. And it's just one of those things where it's just like us as people, we definitely should be in tune with ourselves as people. When you look at our history, when you look at the blood that's been shed, the blood that's been lost, the lives that have been lost, just so we can sit here as young black males in America doing what we enjoy doing, having the freedom to be able to do this, because those people laid it and gave the ultimate sacrifice just so we can live normal lives. I mean, people just don't. People got to kind of remember that and fully understand the impact of those people that have just really kind of. I mean, when you look at like the lashings and the water hoses and the dogs and just everything and all those images, we as people need to remember that and just be grateful and continue to thank those. And like, I see some people that will speak out against that and speak out on black history, talking about this ain't true and this ain't true, and want to debunk this and want to debunk that. I'm like, you can debunk all you want to. It happened and it exists, and y'all need to like it, love it, and deal with it. We as a people have contributed so much, and we're still going to continue to do that. But we definitely got to remember and thank those that came before us. I mean, like I said, I wanted to get that story out there because, like I said, it was an amazing experience, and it really also kind of helped me kind of get my heart back in the right place and kind of understand where I wanted to be as a person. So I just want to, I want to send, shout out. Jesse Jackson recently passed away. I know everybody's got their opinions on him, but at the end of the day, I got to meet the man, and also I got to talk with him for a little bit. One of the coolest things really about that time for me, I had about 5 to 6 minutes talking to John Lewis. Rest in peace to the unbelievable John Lewis. Just incredible, 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 incredible. So yeah, I think people just need to really kind of get a grasp of what's going on and just remember why we're here in the first place. So I wanted to get that out there. Like I said, it was something on my heart, and I wanted to get it out there. Just, it helps you appreciate things more. And yeah, we got a little bit of a shocker here going on.
It is, man. But back to Jaden Ivey real quick. Look, man, I hope it's. I just think the young man needs guidance. I have no problem with anybody following the Lord and the Bible. I want to make it abundantly clear. I just want to make it clear, champ and BRF. I have no problem with people following the Lord and the Bible. What I do have a problem with some who do label themselves as Christians, how they cherry pick the Bible and how they use it to demonize or dehumanize people. That is my
Exactly.
problem with it. I mean, if you want to quote the Bible for some of the good things, but I don't think you should use the Bible to judge and attack people. especially people who haven't done anything to you. The LGBTQ hasn't done anything to Jaden Ivey. Again, freedom of speech. He's entitled to feel however he's entitled to feel. But just because you're entitled to feel however you feel, and just because you're entitled to freedom of speech, does not mean there's no consequences.
They're entitled to let your ass go.
Exactly. And the Chicago Bulls, for those who want to get mad, to your point, BRF, they're a private organization. They call their own shots.
Exactly.
And again, you got to be careful with what you say. And Jaden Ivey was not careful because, again, champ, it is Chicago, known for LGBTQ. Like I mentioned the other examples, Miles Leonard, when he was game streaming, when he was with the Miami Heat, remember the backlash that he got with that anti-Semitic slur.
Yeah.
And again, it is Miami, known for having a lot of Jewish people there. Mark Jackson. And it's not because he can't coach, folks. For those who may think that Mark Jackson doesn't belong in the NBA in terms of his production, no, he's responsible for creating the culture in Golden State. But why isn't he a head coach? And again, he's in the Bay Area. And you know how they are, champ, with the LGBTQ.
Exactly.
So you got to be careful with what you say. You got to understand the circumstances. I hope it's not the end for Jaden Ivey. Hopefully, he, with the mentoring and guidance, I hope he gets enough help as he gets mentally and physically. And hopefully, I hope some NBA team does give him another chance. But with those examples, like I mentioned with Miles Leonard and even Mark Jackson, who proved that he can coach, what's the likelihood of Jaden Ivey getting another chance in the NBA?
I don't think his career. I don't think his career is over. I don't think his career is over. Because I think people, even though he didn't have his best stretch of play in Chicago, I think you still look at that potential, those flashes in Detroit, and a team's gonna feel like someone's gonna come out and they're gonna feel like they have the structure to really kind of bring him in and kind of like bring him in, settle him down, really get him in a structured environment. I think it has to be a good team. It has to be a good team, solid, and solid chemistry with an established coach that really has things in place that they're not going to let him get out of line. It just can't be any team. It's got to be somebody with an established foundation and environment.
Only time will tell, man. But man, we got another unfortunate subject that we got to talk about, and that's one Tiger Woods. Obviously,
you mean CJ from San Andreas?
Lord.
What did you just say?
And you talk about me and BRF being unprofessional.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
I'm just gonna keep this real short and simple with Tiger. Remember, me and my mom. Shout out to Mama PSP. Love Mama PSP. Champ, is it true that he took a breathalyzer test and that it was 0, but he refused to take the urine test? I know he refused to take the urine test. My thing is with Tiger, it's not the first time you've had issues with cars. Remember 2021, that February car crash in Los Angeles? Then 4 years before that incident, let's not forget Jupiter, Florida. And that mugshot you took that night was just as bad as that mugshot recently from last week. And let's not forget the whole situation in 2009 when you inadvertently ran your car into a fire hydrant because of what happened. Tiger, you worth $1 billion. You join Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, former or current athletes, to be worth $1 billion. Tiger, I think given how much money that you have, you're 50. Tiger also is stepping away from golf to work on himself, mental health or whatever. God bless him. In all seriousness, we're happy no one is not dead or severely injured. God forbid. It's disappointing that Tiger will put himself in another situation. No, Dwayne. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing
Bro,
that.
chill.
Oh
Chill.
no!
Chill.
We're not doing
You
that.
got to
We're not.
chill, bro. Chill.
Oh
Dwayne, that ain't right. That
no!
ain't
We're
right,
not.
bro. You ain't
No,
one quarter.
We're not
Chill
doing
out,
that.
bro.
We're not
Chill
doing that.
out. That ain't right.
In all,
That ain't.
but
You
in
know
all
it ain't right.
seriousness,
Oh.
though, in all seriousness, Tiger, he needs to have a personal driver. Tiger really needs to get some help. In all seriousness, we are lucky that no one was severely injured or worse, dead. Because, I mean, with Tiger, man, it's just really unfortunate. And it's just sad, man. Because you would have thought Tiger, after what happened, you would have thought he would have turned around his life. But Tiger, enough is enough, man. I mean, no. In all seriousness, champ. In all seriousness, it's sad, considering
It is sad, though.
what he has been through. And I mean, look, man, your family, your friends. Why would you put yourself in another situation involving behind the wheel of a car? Can you imagine what your kids could have went through?
Man.
The rest of your family, your friends. And we always say on the show, right before we end the show, please don't drink and drive. Please be careful. Please be responsible. Because God forbid, we don't want to hear anybody getting severely injured or dead.
Exactly.
Tiger is lucky that that he's not dead and he didn't put anyone else in harm's way. I just hope for Tiger, he finally comes to the realization, I need some help. I have the money to get myself a personal chauffeur or driver with me. Even though you may say, well, Tiger's his own man, he's 50 years old. Considering the circumstances, considering his history, I think it's time for Tiger to have someone to drive him. Because unfortunately, we can't trust you. That's all I'm going to say regarding this situation. But big fella, your thoughts.
Dwayne. I'm gonna get you later on.
Oh.
I'm gonna get with you offline. But
Oh.
Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy.
Tiger, man, look. There's a lot of controversy throughout your career. A lot of controversy. A lot of it wasn't your fault, but some of it was. Got to make responsible decisions because you could be laying in a pine box right now. Let's just be clear, just to keep it blunt with you. You could have seriously injured yourself or somebody else because the car did a rollover.
Could have
Because,
died.
I mean, the car did a rollover because when they first said a rollover, I didn't think that it was DWI. I just thought it was like, oh man, he was involved in a rollover. But the fact that you did a rollover and you could have seriously hurt yourself. Ain't no drink, no pills, no yak, no herb worth you going 6 feet under because of.
Mm-mm.
None of that. Especially when you got a bunch to live for. You got your kids, you got your career, you're still one of the big faces of the sport, regardless of you being in Nike or not. And let's just be clear, man. People still look up to you and look at you as a role model, regardless.
He was
So,
big time since, remember, when he was a little kid, a prodigy. Remember he was on some type of show, That's Incredible show. I think Mike Douglas or something by the age of 3. And of course, 97, that was the year when he won the Augustus.
yeah.
It's just sad. I'm sorry, Jeb, go ahead.
No, it's okay. You was absolutely right. And you gotta think about the example that you're setting for your son right about now and the bullshit that he's gonna end up taking because of you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Because
And he's
now
gonna have
he's
to
a
deal with the
golfer.
press.
Yeah, because now he's a golfer. And if it's not, if I'm not mistaken, he probably is gonna go end up going pro. So I don't need people asking me about the actions because of you. I don't need people as a son because the thing is, that's the last thing you want to be able to deal with. Them asking you about your father, them asking you about this, asking you about that, because you 50 some years old and you just can't get your act together. How we say down south, you too old for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be real, you too old for that shit, bro. I look, you got plenty of money. Now for broke folks, hey, we may not be able to afford a ride home. That's the reason why a lot of guys get DUIs. Not condoning DUIs, but they can't afford a ride home, they can't afford a taxi. They just filled up their tank and went to the club. Hey, they probably, although it's inexcusable, you could look at it and say they may not have had a way home. But for you, you're a billionaire. And look, man, let's just be real. You got clout, man. Look at who you dating. Yeah, call your future father-in-law, tell him to get you a little private plane or something down there. Do something. I mean, look, use your resources. I mean, I'm just saying. Look, if I am dating somebody and I know they got clout like that, guess what? I'm gonna give somebody a call. Look, I'm drunk. I don't know. I'm discombobulated. Get me a car. They'll do it. Use your resources, man. Regardless, look, if you knew somebody powerful, it's kind. Let's just say one of us make it big out of the group, and you stuck somewhere in a bad situation. You're not gonna call one of us, yeah. Regardless of who it
Obviously.
is, regardless of who it is, you may not be. Well, it might not be a popular decision, but guess what?
You
You
just
know,
being slick because you bringing up who he currently dating with. We
again,
we we, we know you.
no. But use that power that you have. If you dating somebody powerful and you are a powerful man yourself, then guess what? Use it in order to
But
get
what?
yourself out of a situation, especially if you can prevent. It's better to be proactive than reactive.
But
I'd
big
rather
fella, what
call.
does it say? No, I understand that, big fella. But what does it say about the person who's refusing to use the power, knowing that he has it, he or she?
Exactly. That's the thing. Use your power and use your money. You know damn well you ain't equipped to be going out there. You've been drinking Long Island iced teas all night. Come on, man. You know. I mean, and like I said, there's no judgment. But the thing is, I don't want you getting in trouble because guess what? A lot of cats, because of how you kicked their ass back in the 90s and the early 2000s, they already want to see you fall. They've had the unfortunate, you had the unfortunateness in order for them to see you fall, and it can only get worse from here. That's why I say the things that I'm saying because I don't want him to get in trouble, and I don't want his son to have to deal with the press that's gonna come with it. You don't want to. That's the thing. One of the things that motivated me to kind of stay out of trouble is I didn't want to embarrass my mom. I didn't want to embarrass my dad. I didn't want to embarrass Ace. I didn't want to embarrass them. So yes, I moved through life a little bit scary, but on the flip side of that coin, I wasn't getting in trouble. And look, man, the internet is undefeated, bro. The internet is undefeated.
Well, man, all I'm gonna say is I saw Tiger Woods meme, and all I'm gonna say is ET, homie, ET.
Mhm.
Bless
Why he look
it,
like OJ on one of them damn things though, man? I'm just asking. He
bro.
look like OJ on one of them. I'm like,
Ti-
bro, come on.
Honestly, though, when you look at sports figures, when you look at figures in general, he has to be one of the most disappointing when you consider he might arguably have one of the greatest individual peaks in the history of like individual sports. When you look at golf, when you look at tennis, sports like that, he may have the greatest peak ever. When you look at that 99 to 2000 when he won the Tiger Slam, when he won all four back to back to back to back. Even though it wasn't like in a calendar year. The fact that the single fact that he won the PGA, the Masters, the British, and the U.S. Open in a line back to back. I mean, it's arguably the greatest singular peak in any individual sport ever, and just 14 career majors. I still feel like one of my favorite moments of his career. I'm trying when he won the what year was it? 2014, 2015. When he came back and won the Masters, when nobody was expecting him to come back and win the Masters, and he comes back and wins the Masters. Like you think, and I mean, it just in the style he did it, in the way he did it, he looked healthy again. He looked happy again. He looked like he was ready to make like a second win kind of run. And just seeing him in this position now, it almost breaks my heart a little bit, because of what he should be right now in terms of the game of golf as a whole. He should be one of the ultimate ambassadors for that sport. And like when you see the pro-ams, when you saw him and his son Charlie play, that boy is already good at his age. He is already uber talented. And why wouldn't he be? Arguably the greatest golfer in the history of the game is your father. I mean, how are you not picking his brain? How did you not inherit some of the physical attributes to the table? I mean, just seeing Tiger Woods in the state he's in right now, it's unfortunate, and it's really embarrassing. It's really embarrassing because y'all brought it up, like the fact that Charlie is gonna have to deal with this. This is one thing a lot of parents don't always really seem to understand. When they get into stuff, especially stuff like Tiger Woods has, and they're in the public eye, who's gonna bear the brunt of the bullying and all that stuff the most? The kids. The kids are who's gonna get that. Because let me tell you something, I hate to say it like this, but we've seen it growing up. We've been in schools. Kids are evil. Kids can
And
be
you know how
kids.
they are with social media,
They
especially
don't.
when they show the phones.
Kids
Hey,
don't care.
I know
Kids
that
can.
because
Kids can be some evil entities.
I know that because I was an evil kid. Because I talk
Man,
about you back in the day.
man.
back in,
Let me tell you something. As a person that's been on the receiving end on his fair share of bullying, I got bullied a lot growing up. Kids can be evil, bro. So it's like you can only imagine how Charlie's feeling at a time like this, seeing his dad going through all this stuff, seeing his dad basically becoming an internet meme. Like, how does that weighs on somebody, especially someone that wants to really be on the come up like him? Like, Tiger, like if anybody needs to look in the mirror and do some soul searching right now, it's Tiger Woods. And I hate to really bring up the internet meme, and and it's not necessarily like I'm like making fun of him like that, but it's like it's out there for everybody to see now. So
He did it to himself.
he did. He's got nobody else to blame for this but himself. So he needs to. This has got to. You hope him being 50 years old. This hopefully is that kind of litmus test to really, hopefully, get him back in line, man. If any, like, yeah, like, don't drive, private chauffeur, leave whatever you're doing alone and focus on yourself. Get healthy. I mean, you've had a few injuries. Nurse yourself for health. Focus on yourself. Get yourself right. Cause honestly, I mean, is he way past winning majors and stuff like that? Yeah, he probably is. But just be an ambassador to the game. You know what I'm
be a mentor to
saying?
your
Like,
son. Like the thing is,
yeah,
the most important thing that you can do,
exactly.
pass the torch to your son. Y'all can be, something special. Y'all can be like how Ken Griffey Jr. Senior and Ken Griffey Jr. was. Why was you drinking that cup like Debo when he woke up in Friday, bro?
Boy, hey, the water's keeping me going. I feel good.
So, but yeah, be an ambassador to the game, like BRL said, and especially now that your son is in the game, you can be kind of like how Bronny James is in the NBA. You could be how Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. was. You could be how Willie Mays was. You can do a lot of great things in there, considering that your son is great. Your son is not a nipple baby. Your son is
No,
not.
he's a well proven commodity. And the
He's a
thing
hell
is,
of a golfer.
Tiger,
He's a hell of a
the
golfer.
thing is, Tiger, you mean a lot to a lot of young golfers and to a lot of role models. Why would you? And you've had the history. Why would you put yourself in that type of situation? Definition of insanity is doing something more than once and expecting a different result, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
And with Tiger, it's so disappointing. Not just with his son, the rest of the family.
Yeah.
The rest of the family, they have to deal with the embarrassment because Tiger, unfortunately, because of what he did, to your point, the internet memes, the AI video clips, people are not going to forget that, not anytime soon.
No, they are
They're
not.
going to keep on strolling. And when you got Dwayne over here with them comments that he just posted, it's going to intensify.
Dwayne, love you to life, bro. But that was cold blooded. Well, that was
That was
cold.
50 Cent.
In the words of Ron Simmons, damn.
Damn.
But again, to Dwayne's point, Tiger did it to himself. Tiger has no one to blame but himself and the people around him. You're like, if you know that he's had problems before, who's in his way to say, nah, man, we love you. We don't want you involved in another situation, another predicament again, man.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing. I hope it's a teaching lesson for everyone, man.
Yeah. A lot of times in that when you're in that life though, when you got all that damn money, you're a billionaire. A lot of the people that are around you, you're paying them. So they're scared to kind of tell you what you need to be. But I think the late great Prince said it best. Your greatest advisors are not on your payroll. Your greatest advisors are not on your payroll. So get some people who are not on your payroll, who's not depending on you to get that dollar to get you into these special places and stuff like that. And yeah,
You
do
gotta
that.
stop surrounding yourself with yes men.
Yeah,
Because if you
keep
keep
yes man from
surrounding
around you.
yourselves with yes men, if you keep surrounding yourself with yes men, you're not gonna get far.
No, you're not, and that's what I believe. That's why I believe Floyd is in the position that he's in right about now, because there's been a lot of rumors about Floyd Mayweather going broke, and people are saying, "Well, how in the hell is he broke? He earned damn near over $1 billion in fighting person." Well, I mean, when you got a lot of yes men around you, only telling you what you need, not telling you what you want to hear, then only telling you what you want to hear, excuse me, then you're gonna falter. And look, man, that shit that he buys is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's expensive to live in Las Vegas mansions every day. It's expensive to gamble every day. It's expensive to have bad investments
Well, you
in,
well you didn't
yeah,
just have a house in Las Vegas. You also had houses in Miami and L.A.
yeah.
So
I mean, look. I'm gonna just be real. It's good to stunt sometime, man. Sometimes you got to do. Sometimes it's good to, just flex. Everybody like to flex when they got a little something. Nothing wrong with that, but it gets to a point where you have to stop and look at yourself. Like, is it worth me flexing to lose all of this money that I got? And I know this is not a subject on the pod, but boxers, I think boxers more than anything, it has to be studied how quickly these guys lose money. From the
Mike
late
Tyson,
from the Mike Tyson, the late great Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali. Remember the first time he got suspended, he ended up being broke. George Clooney,
Holyfield.
Jerry Clooney, Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Mayweather. I mean, and it seems like the guys who didn't have much education when they were in boxing, they did the best with their money. Did y'all know that Larry Holmes only had a seventh grade education when he was boxing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he owned a lot of land. He owned a lot of entities. He owned tolls. He owned a lot of things. So he invested in a lot of business. So yeah, that just goes to show you it's not about your literacy level, your education level. Larry Holmes only had a seventh grade education when he first started, but he ended up making his money work for him.
It depends on the type of people that you have around you, and depends on whether or not you're willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, and also with Mike Tyson, I think a lot of that had to do with Don King, in my humble opinion, because and also with Robin Givens, and also the people around him as well. But Tyson, to his credit, champ, if you know what he's doing with his own weed farm and his podcast and everything else, he may not have as much money as before, but he has turned it around. So
Yeah, he's turned a lot around, and people need to be smart. But my thing is, I hate to see the boxers that lose it all because that's a real big time comeback sport. I used to be a boxer.
I
I
know,
hate to
but
see those guys you lose it all, and it takes them that long to smarten up. It's like, look, learn from the guys before you. Learn from the guys before you not to be spending all that money. You don't need 5 Bentleys. So
unfortunately, champ, with a lot of young people, they feel so untouchable. They don't realize until they hit rock bottom, and once you hit rock bottom, that's when you realize, okay, what could I've done? What should I've done? What should I've done differently? It
absolutely.
always takes that. It always takes that long for us to realize. Damn shame. But like with Tiger, like I said, man, I just hope Tiger and everyone else learned a valuable lesson. It's really sad that he put himself in another situation. Once again, thank God no one was severely injured or dead, because that's the last thing we want to hear. But fellas, on a more positive note, Kirk Cousins. The Las Vegas Raiders acquired Kirk Cousins, a 5-year, $172 million deal, equivalent to like a 1-year, $20 million deal. Correct me if I'm wrong, champ, guaranteed. Kirk Cousins, say whatever you want about him. He knows how to get paid.
His agent is a Hall of Famer.
Yes. His agent is a tremendous Hall of Famer. I'm going to go try to look up his agent right now. But Kirk Cousins, I like it for the Las Vegas Raiders. We all know for a fact that they're going to draft Fernando Mendoza with the number 1 overall pick. Champ has had his skepticism, his concern about Mendoza going to the Raiders because of the Raiders' culture history. But I've told Champ, look, if you're thinking that long and hard, you're gonna have to take him with the number 1 overall pick. You have to at least break the cycle. And Champ, I've told you they were gonna do their homework in the off season, especially with the amount of money that they had in cap space. They
Hmm.
brought in that They brought in that center from Baltimore, Tyler Lombard, N'Kobe
Hmm.
Dean from the Philadelphia Eagles. You stressed enough that the quarterback cannot throw on his back. You've always talked about with the offensive line. They could have gotten themselves them 2 first-round picks had it not been for the Ravens reneging the Max Crosby trade. What I love about it for Mendoza is that he can sit and learn. And unlike Anthony Richardson, he's already polished and poised. So this will either further enhance his development. Kirk Cousins is not going to be the starting quarterback for the remainder of the season because Kirk Cousins is going to be 38 years old in August. I believe Fernando Mendoza may start until like what, week 4 of the regular season, and eventually his number will be called. But I think to have a guy like Kirk Cousins, for him to sit and learn, and Kirk Cousins is a great guy. I mean, when the Falcons, when they acquired him, when they gave him that contract, and when they brought in Michael Penix Jr., Kirk Cousins, no controversy.
Yep.
Consummate professional, says and does all the right things that's conducive to creating an excellent culture. And I think that's one of the reasons why Tom Brady brought in Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins can help you a lot as far as making money. So, and Fernando Mendoza may definitely have life after football because after all, he's talked about a lot of other things. Heck, after all, he did put a LinkedIn profile picture of himself. Let's not forget that. So I like it for Fernando Mendoza because I think Kirk Cousins is the right type of mentor for Fernando Mendoza to sit and learn rather than Fernando Mendoza to be under that fire. And then when Kirk Cousins doesn't play well or God forbid gets injured, then and only then you throw in Fernando Mendoza. I like what the Raiders are doing. I think it's healthy. I think they having a good future. Kansas City, we still got to wait and see, even though they did do some things in the offseason by bringing in Kenneth Walker. We still got to wait and see with Patrick Mahomes, even though now he's practicing throwing the football. Denver, I think, is the team to beat in the AFC. The Chargers, yes, I mean, they've done their part with the defense. They did lose one of the top defensive pass rushers who's now in Washington. Justin Herbert, again, another disappointing performance in the playoffs. But I like it for the Las Vegas Raiders step. They've taken a big step, man. So I like it for Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins made more money in his NFL career than Tom Brady. His agent is Mike McCartney of Vayner Sports. McCartney is a highly regarded NFL agent who has represented Cousins throughout his career, including his recent deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, there are a lot of good agents in the NFL. James Buss Cook. Let's not forget, champ. You know this one, Tom Condon, representing Peyton Eli, Drew Brees, Richard Sherman, J.J. Watt. When it comes to Mike McCartney, as far as agents, he's got to be right up there because what he has done for Kirk Cousins, as far as helping Kirk Cousins get that amount of money, that's saying something. But BRF, the floor is yours. What are your thoughts about the Raiders acquiring Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, so yeah, like I stated earlier, shout out to Kirk Cousins helping us get that extra $10 million out in the down in cap space for the 2027 season. Shout out to you. I kind of had a feeling you had some real in you, so definitely got nothing but love for you on that one. But it does make sense for the Las Vegas Raiders to bring in someone like a Kirk Cousins. This means if you're gonna still go with that plan of drafting Fernando Mendoza, he doesn't have to start right out of the gate. You got Kirk Cousins who can maybe play the first couple of months of the season, depending on where the Raiders are in terms of standings or whatnot. You can have him at the very least if he can stay healthy, play this season out. I mean, Kirk Cousins has a brilliant IQ for football. He has a mind for the game. You have a guy like Fernando Mendoza, who we've seen is the consummate professional. You see he is of high value, high character. So he's going to come in ready and willing to learn right out the gate. And you got a guy like Kirk Cousins, he can pick his brain, talk to him about this, and understand the game of football and understand life. So this definitely works in two ways. It definitely works twofold with the Raiders signing him. And when you look at the contract and like a lot of the variables that go into contract, PSP, you brought it up. I can kind of elaborate. I remember some of the aspects of the contract. Like PSP said, it's a 5-year, $172 million deal, which is really, in fact, a 1-year fully guaranteed $20 million. The way that breaks down for year one, the Falcons will be paying $8.7 million of that. The Raiders will be paying $1.3 million of that. And they've already agreed the third day of the 2027 league year, when that league year kicks off, they're paying him $10 million of fully guaranteed money. So they've already guaranteed that as well. He also has a club option, 2 years, $80 million. So basically right now, he's like PSP said, he's basically on a 1-year, $20 million guaranteed deal. If he plays well, he has an opportunity to earn more money in the deal. But honestly, the best case scenario, he plays, he does what he can. Ultimately, you would think best case scenario, year 2, they're turning it over to Fernando Mendoza, and they say, "Here, kid, keys to the kingdom, do your thing." But yeah,
they may try to take a page out of the Bengals. Remember what they did with Carson Palmer when they made him sit out the entire season? They may try to take that page. But
Kirk, I won't blame him one bit for that.
No, I don't blame him. But the likelihood is Kirk Cousins at 38 years old. Here's the thing. Kirk Cousins, remember, he was coming off the Achilles in 2023. In 2024, the Atlanta Falcons, they were 6-3 the first 9 games of the season. And Kirk Cousins, we were at some point was in the conversation, I think, for like MVP. But then all of a sudden the team fell off. And then eventually they put Michael Penix Jr. in as the starting quarterback. So I wouldn't be surprised if Fernando Mendoza at some point, probably around week 4 or week 8, to say, hey, we've seen enough with Kirk Cousins. We feel like in order for us to have a spark or plus for the team, It's time to throw the kid into the fire. We gotta see how he is. I mean, because
Mhm.
it's not like a situation in Green Bay where you get to sit for 3 years behind Hall of Famers like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
That doesn't happen.
I think
But continue, BRF. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, but no, just to kind of go into it, but yeah, I like I said, I think it ultimately just gonna is gonna come down to like the team as far as like where they're at in the standings and really how Kirk Cousins is playing. Because let's say, because I know you're talking about like week 4 in the season, like if it's like still like first quarter, first half of the season, and they're a really bad team and he's looking really bad, like one of the main components as to why they're looking bad, yeah, you could definitely, yeah, Fernando Mendoza, at least giving him a look would definitely be an option. But
Yeah,
I do
that's
still,
how I'm looking. That's how I'm looking at it.
but ultimately, I'm thinking like I like the improvements the Raiders have made as a team. Tyler Lindenbaum, N'Kobe Dean on the defense. I'm looking at what I feel like they're doing as far as building that roster. I think they're going to be more. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I definitely think they're going to be more competitive. I definitely, for me, I don't see Fernando Mendoza really getting that look as far as being a starter until maybe I'm looking at within the second half of the season. I'm looking at like a week 11, week 12. I don't think it's really gonna. I don't think it's not gonna be that quick of a leash unless Kirk Cousins is just god awful or he gets hurt. I still think Kirk Cousins can play respectable enough with this team to at least kind of hold back and not pull the trigger on Fernando Mendoza just yet until you just absolutely have to, like in this year one for him. So I'm gonna let it play out a little bit. I'm gonna let it cook, see where it goes. Like I said, I think a realistic scenario is like week 10. I feel like what it should have been with Penix, because my main thing with the Penix situation and Kirk Cousins, he got hurt in that first New Orleans game, and he didn't want to come out and say it. He kept playing, and you could just see the play was telling off. You knew it was hurt. So by the time Penix was thrusted in to be the starting quarterback, you're in the middle of a freaking wild card playoff chase. And by then, it's like the momentum was kind of on and off with the team, and then you end up missing the playoffs. So you you hope something like that doesn't happen again with the Raiders. I mean, you never know. I don't want to speak it into existence, but I just personally think as in the best case scenario, week 10, week 11 for Fernando Mendoza, if the Raiders are out of the playoffs and they just want to they just want to spark. I don't think they're gonna I don't think Fernando Mendoza gets in if by some like by some miraculous reason the Raiders are like playing decent football and are actually in contention for a wild card playoff spot. But that'll remain to be seen. But yeah, that I think this is kind of like how I feel on it. I don't think it's gonna be thrust in like in the beginning of the season, really, unless he gets hurt. I'm thinking about, like I said, week 10, week 11.
And look, just because he sits and learns, that's not an indictment, and that
Mm-mm.
shouldn't be.
Nope.
Look, what's wrong with sitting and learning as much as you can with the offense? It'll help you further develop your game, it'll tell you what to do and what not to do. So, and also, they're setting Fernando Mendoza in a position to succeed. Now, if you throw him into the fire just yet, maybe he may succeed or maybe he regress. But this is exactly what the Indianapolis Colts should have done, champ, when they drafted Anthony Richardson. Because myself, champ, BRF, we've watched a lot of SEC football. Anthony Richardson played at Florida, even though he was talented, but we thought he was very raw. Very, very raw. And look, okay, the Colts, they drafted him, but they drafted him with the fourth overall pick. And when you look at what they had around him, they had Jonathan Taylor, Shane Steichen as a head coach. At one point, they had Michael Pittman Jr. So they had pieces around Anthony Richardson to flourish and succeed. And for whatever reason, it didn't work out. Injuries, him not being in the best type of condition or shape as he's supposed to be. And we didn't see any growth or development in this game. And the fact they brought in Daniel Jones, who was with the Colts before the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings. And the fact that they brought him in at that point, and Daniel Jones was a journeyman quarterback because we thought could have been over for Daniel Jones. He takes over the team. The Colts were 8-2 before Daniel Jones couldn't finish the rest of the season because broken fibula, and then later he ruptured his Achilles. Shane Steichen, we were having discussions about him for winning Coach of the Year. Jonathan Taylor, the discussion not only for Offensive Player of the Year, but League MVP because what he was on pace to do before the season. I think for the Raiders, they've got a loaded roster on the offensive side. You mentioned, Champ, with that offensive line they had last year, not so much. Ashton Dentry got over 1,000 yards. So imagine, because you talked about with the offensive line, the holes. Imagine of a player of Ashton Gentry's caliber getting those types of holes. And we know how explosive he is. Brock Bowers from your team, Georgia Bulldogs, is explosive, especially how he is when it comes to yak. They got the deep threat wide receiver from Tennessee. I like what the Raiders are doing. I think with Mendoza, let him sit and learn as much as he can. Have Kirk Cousins there to be the starting quarterback. I do see Fernando Mendoza playing a lot sooner than later because it depends on Kirk Cousins' play. And also, two other things that Mendoza can bring, unlike Kirk Cousins, which is his ability, his legs. Mendoza is a better athlete than people give him credit for. That national championship run on 4th and 5 tells you a lot. Yes, you mentioned, Chip, he wants it. But I told you, big fella, the Raiders, they've been doing their homework. You got to give them credit on this, man. They've been doing their homework. They've even addressed one of the needs with the offensive line. I still think they need more, but you got to be pleased with what you've been seeing from the Raiders.
Gotta get credit where credit is due. You were right. And look, for those, I cannot get mad at Kirk Cousins for taking that money, number one. And I can't get mad at the Raiders for saying, look, we're nowhere in
Yo,
the
you can't get mad at that money in Vegas, too.
hell no, man. But Kirk Cousins being the, you know what? I will say this. Kirk Cousins being the man that he is, yes, he has his little off the wall moments. They was calling him Kirk Cain.
Kirk Chain.
Mm-hmm.
They was calling him Kirko Chains at one point, but he's not really off the wall. So with his money, you don't really see him acting like that. So I think when it came to money, they did the right thing on giving him that type
Remember,
of.
we did this. Remember, 2024, Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins. Remember when I came up with the topic who we'd rather have between them
Yeah,
two?
yeah, and we're
And the
talking
reason,
about modern day Aaron Rodgers, not peak Aaron Rodgers before
no, not Aaron Rodgers at his peak
any
or his
of you
prime.
guys, any of you guys or gals try to jump into the comments and try to blast somebody because you know how folks is. I always have a thing. If you ever know, look, I'm gonna just be real. If you ever want to know the right answer to something, just put the wrong answer on the internet. Somebody gonna run and correct you.
Exactly.
So
They always do that.
yeah.
So.
So
But again, we were talking about Kirk Cousins as far as leadership, because by all
yeah.
accounts, Kirk Cousins doesn't get involved in controversies, doesn't have any diva tendencies or anything.
No, he doesn't. And I think that they're doing the right thing and taking the right steps in the right direction for him. Not to mention not only you get the Kobe Dean, but you also get Max Crosby back.
Yes.
So, and I think there's anybody that deserves to have at least a winning season right about now, it is Max Crosby. He's essentially, look, I'm gonna just be real. He is essentially to Las Vegas what Leroy Selman was to Tampa Bay. You remember Leroy Selman, don't you, BRL?
Very, very,
Consistency.
very, very good defensive end for a team that did not do a lot of winning.
Exactly. He's essentially modern day Leroy Selman he's what Leroy Selman was to the Tampa Bay Bucks. So if there's anybody who deserves a winning season at least, it has to be Max Crosby. I hate he couldn't go to the Baltimore Ravens, but Baltimore, they drafted enough guys last year, especially when you think about Mike Brown, a lot of those other guys. They drafted enough guys in order to develop. They should be able to develop those guys. And them being the great organization that they are, they should be able to find them another good pass rusher to go along with Justin Metabupe and a lot of the other players that they have. But not mad at it. Good homework by the Las Vegas Raiders. Not drafting the quarterback and thinking that that's going to change it all. I think that the GOAT himself had a lot to do with it as far as his advisory role. Don't be surprised if he ends up taking that. Don't be surprised if he ends up having full ownership eventually. Won't surprise me at all because that's how it started. Al Davis was just a coach at one point, and then he took over the majority ownership of the Raiders. So don't be surprised if the GOAT ends up owning that NFL team, especially in Las Vegas. So, but I'm proud of the Raiders, man. Hey, look, people talk about the Cowboys winning, man. When that silver and black was winning when I was a child, that was a whole nother entity. I understand that it was the starter jacket era, but wearing Raiders colors, that silver and black, when they are winning, is an aura like no other team has. Because there's always something great about silver and black. It's just we wear the silver, we wear the black. Don't get in our way. There's something about the silver and black that is just special. And when they are winning, it is something. It is something to behold, especially with some of the frenzied fans that they've had over the years. That is one of the best fan bases that you're ever gonna get. You have been losing for the past I don't know how long, and your fan base still sold out damn near every game. So that just goes to show you how good that fan base is. But if there's anybody who deserves a winning season, and if there's any fan base that deserves a winning season, it has to be the Raiders and their fans and Max Crosby. And it's going to be good to see what him and the Kobe Dean is going to do. It's going to be good to see. And look, I know this part. I'm surprised you didn't. I'm surprised when I talk about the drama in Philadelphia right now,
No,
especially.
we actually we are gonna discuss that because there was the report from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler about Jalen Hurts changing the offense and everything else. It tells you that Jalen Hurts is not as squeaky clean as he appears. Am I surprised? No, champ, because when you're as accomplished as Jalen Hurts is, you're going to exercise your leverage. I've said it before, champ. He's the modern day version of Russell Wilson. I don't think he's as good as Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson, remember in Seattle, he wasn't as always squeaky clean. Look, remember, champ. I'm sorry. Am I lying? Marshawn Lynch, Richard Sherman, other people, they've talked about how Russell Wilson is compared to the rest of his teammates. And you saw how Russell Wilson was in Denver when he wanted certain things. And you saw
In
what happened
office
his
and
first year.
everything.
Yeah. And my thing is with Jalen Hurts, he has to be careful. It also puts into perspective that AJ Brown, as difficult as he wasn't really all much of the problem. I still believe he should be traded, though, champ. I still stand by that. I do think that Philadelphia should move on from him because it doesn't help when you constantly complain that much, and especially when you're going on Madden. And on top of that, you didn't show up in the playoffs against San Francisco. We can't disregard that. And I also
Yeah,
brought up, champ, 3 games. Have I not? Dallas, Chicago, Los Angeles. You had over 100 yards and got your touchdowns. And we didn't hear a peep from you. And all 3 of those games, you lost.
yeah. Then in
But
the
at the
playoffs,
same
you
time,
became Manos De Piedra.
yes, for those who may not know, Roberto Duran, the legendary great boxer, one of the most menacing boxers, though. But when I look at Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts is not as squeaky clean as he is. And people may want to say, why not? Jalen Hurts is a likable guy. He took over the team for Carson Wentz. And this is a Philadelphia thing too, champ, because shout out to our guy, Broad Sports. Carson Wentz, during his time in Philadelphia, remember, he was changing the play calls. He was ignoring the play calls that Doug Peterson was calling. Carson Wentz did things his own way. Isn't it not a pattern with Philadelphia?
Yeah.
So when you look at
Randall.
right, so when you look at with Jalen Hurts, he has to be careful because guess what happens? That Philadelphia is reported they're not thinking about giving you a contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
They're planning on moving on from you. And what's going to happen when you go elsewhere? How you going to be? Because we saw how Russell Wilson was in his first 2 years in Denver. So he better be careful. As for Philadelphia, I think they took a step back, champ, because look, the Giants, they got better. They brought in John Harbaugh. Malik Neighbors is coming back from a torn ACL. He's going to be one of the top candidates. I have him as one of the top candidates for comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Cam Scatterboo's coming back. Lord knows if he just not says dumb shit. I do believe that he has a bright future. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, it was dumb shit. You cannot argue about that. And then, of course, they got the quarterback of the future with Jackson Dart, but 4 concussions in 1 year. And they just brought in Isaiah Likely, a tight end who's exceptional, especially with Yak and his size and ability. And then, of course, we can't disregard what the Cowboys did by getting the trade for Rashard Gary. They still have the 2 first-round picks. George Pickens. By the way, and also to Jerry Jones, do yourself a favor, please, Jerry. Don't refer to someone by daddy. Did you see that thing I sent you, champ? Did you see it, champ? Tell me, am I lying? Am I lying? No, am I lying? 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 Am I lying?
We waving the white flag on that.
Boy, I ain't seen Champ slid in that chair mighty fast.
Jerry, this is one of the reasons why I told you, Champ, Mama Champ, at some point in time, she needs to stop supporting them Dallas Cowboys because I keep telling you, Champ, you keep talking about them players, and I'm not saying that you ain't wrong about them players, but Jerry keeps putting his foot in his mouth. Jerry keeps putting his foot in his mouth. When will he learn how to shut the fuck up? I mean, he talking about daddy. I mean, Jerry, you 80 plus years old, man. Come on, Jerry. And look, and what makes it worse with the situation with George Pickens, he is represented with the same agent as Micah Parsons' agent, David Mugoleta. Jerry, what are you doing? CeeDee Lamb even told you himself, I'm willing to take a pay cut just to keep George Pickens. Did I lie about that, Chip?
I
mean, come on. I got more receipts than most of these. I got more receipts than most of these prosecutors within Trump files. So come on now.
Oh.
That damn PSP to turn into Johnny Cochran right before our eyes. Anyway, shit. This is just getting ridiculous. Why the fuck are you calling?
Come on. I mean, I got all these receipts. I got more receipts than these prosecutors with them Trump Epstein stuff. So, I mean, come on now.
PSP got more
receipts. You could at least said the OJ trial, but you know we ain't going there. But,
PSP got more receipts than CVS.
Let me ask y'all. So they give y'all that long ass receipt up there in New Jersey when you go to CVS.
Yes.
That damn receipt be this damn long. Like, what kind of coupons y'all giving us?
Bro, let me tell you something. At my job, when I'm ringing up my customers and whatnot, when they have like a really big order, and then that receipt print out in that echelon, first thing they come on my boy, here come that CVS receipt.
Yeah, you buy a candy bar the damn like
boy.
It took more. Y'all took more paper to print the receipt than it did to make the candy.
I'm telling you, boy. I don't know which one I want more, boy. The candy boy or the coupons.
But Jerry,
like I said, man, Jerry
crazy.
keeps putting his foot in his mouth. Go ahead, champ. I'm sorry.
Jerry. I keep trying
to save Mama Champ from himself. I keep trying. For those, I love Mama Champ. Mama Champ, you put so much hell on Champ and Ace. Come on, you supposed to love your children. Your children are doing enough they can to help you. And how are you going to continue support this team with this owner and GM keep running his mouth?
You think after the bad boy trial, somebody would learn not to say certain words, but next topic, man. It is getting ridiculous at this point, man. It's getting ridiculous at this point, and I don't know.
Shout out to the great Jim Cornette. Thank you, Jim Cornette, for colorfulness.
It is crazy. Damn, like enough, Jerry. Just sign the players and be quiet sometime. And to think Dallas fans were so against Dr. Buss, God rest his soul, being the owner when he was about to buy the Cowboys. They got somebody who was just like him, just as flamboyant.
I swear, man. I swear.
I don't know about a lot of things, man. It's just like with the Cowboys, you don't have to. You was doing it. Y'all, let me ask y'all something. Y'all ever been in a relationship, right? Y'all be in a relationship with a young lady, right? And she started just going in, and you look at her and say, "You know what? We've been doing so good lately." That's what you really just want to say to Jerry. Like, you know what, baby? We've been doing so. Everybody's been in that relationship. Every dude has been in that relationship. But everything is going real good. She ain't had no crash out or none of that. And then all of a sudden, just one day, it could be over the slightest thing. Somebody got the damn order wrong and long. You take on a date the Longhorns, and somebody didn't bring the bread right.
Or if you're in a situation where you kind of like you ain't dating yet, well, you're not like together yet, but you kind of like you feeling her out, and she look good. She checked all the boxes, and then she opened her mouth for the first time.
No, I like the other example better, because the thing is, it's just like that's what it reminds me of. Jerry, you was doing so good, Jerry. It's just like you were signing players, you was keeping your mouth closed, you got everything done quickly.
They've had a great off season.
They had a great off season, and it's just like I said, it's kind of like being in a relationship. It is just like
for those
she just starts going in and just like, you know what, we've been doing so good lately. Can you not do this today? That's how it is. It's just like
you were doing good till you want. You were doing good till you started.
You've been doing so good.
For context, people, we just bringing up Jerry Jones. This is his recent comments regarding the George Pickens negotiations.
Yeah.
I'm reading an article here from Sports Illustrated's Randy Gurzy, reading this paragraph right here. Negotiations with Michael Parsons broke down in a hurry, and Jones blamed his agent, David Muguleta. He made that clear once again when asked about George Pickens, saying he doesn't mind speaking with agents before taking a jab at Muguleta with an uncomfortable analogy, which is, quote, again, there's no issue with me talking to agents. I need to do a better job of not getting, well, Daddy said I could have it, and him going to Mama, and Mama saying Daddy said I could have it. This is what Jerry Jones told Tommy Yarish of DallasCowboys.com, to which even Stephen A. Smith even called out Jerry Jones about it. And we all know how Stephen A. Smith and Jerry Jones are tight. Stephen A. Smith doesn't want to admit it. He is a Dallas Cowboy fan.
He's a Dallas Cowboy fan. He's a Cowboy fan.
Where's Usher when you need him, bro?
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's
no, we don't want to make the show burn. We don't want to make it burn. Come on, man.
Yo. At this point, they got that ether. That shit'll make your soul burn slow. Anyway,
God.
Let's move on to Babyface.
Let's just move on.
And you think somebody won't?
I can't even talk about Dallas, man. Y'all
And you think somebody wanting you because of your looks? Negro, please.
Mm.
Champ, I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you about Dallas. Jerry Jones cannot help himself. When
Again,
you
like
reach
I
a certain
said,
point in age, you're not changing. You're not
again, it's kind of
changing.
like being in that relationship. It's like we've been doing so good lately. You just had that damn crash out today, and I got to deal with this shit. Now I got to calm you down. I got to cool the waters. I got to do damage control.
I gotta buy you
All the-
food.
yeah, now I got to take you to the mall, and we got to buy
Yeah,
the
but
mall. It's
but you love her enough to tolerate her ass.
I mean,
You just love her enough to tolerate her ass.
bad attitudes equals a lot of other good things, but this is not a relationship, so we'll move on to Babyface Hill.
Well, there's nothing better than makeup love. So
Let's not go there real quick because remember you was getting on to me at the beginning of the show about the helicopter. So let's just go. Let's move forward. Let's move forward.
well, just play some Marvin Gaye music, rest his soul, and then you'll be good.
Well,
All right,
either that or tip
fellas.
drill.
Why don't you just play Get Low by Lil Jon and the East Side Boys?
Y'all getting a little too rough.
Yeah, shake that monkey. That
Y'all getting a little too rough. Wait a minute. Good God.
I gotta start hanging out.
Rein them horses back in now.
I gotta start hanging out with y'all on Fridays.
Rein it back
I'm
in.
finna start going back to all on Friday. I gotta start hanging out.
Where you gonna go to? Where you gonna go to? You gonna go to Daiquiris and Po' Boys?
Whoa!
I'm gonna start going back to the pool hall. I gotta stop hanging out.
I like the soft start and then Marvin Gaye, and the next thing you know is like boom with the little. I'm like, whoa! we went from having dinner to breaking headboards. What are we doing?
We can play Fat Joe's Make It Rain. There you go. But that's what we do on the Sports PSP podcast. There's a reason why we call ourselves the highlight of Friday night for a reason, folks. But fellas, let's get into it with Babyface Hill, my favorite topic on the Sports PSP podcast. For those who may not know, Babyface in wrestling language, Babyface is a good guy, a heel is a bad guy, tweener is someone in between. Molly Qerim. I'm going to be nice and I'm going to say tweener. I could say heel, but I will not do that. Only problem I've had with Molly Qerim was that I thought as the moderator on First Take, I thought she was very loud, annoying, and interruptive. I've been consistent on that, champ. I have. Remember, at the time when ESPN decided to move on from Molly Qerim as the moderator, that's been my only issue with Molly Qerim. Because I've mentioned other moderators such as Joy Taylor, Ross Golden Wunde, and Tanita Collins. Jenny Taft on Undisputed. I've seen other female moderators done a better job than Molly Qerim because unlike the rest of those moderators, Molly Qerim is loud, annoying, interruptive. I thought there were times she came off as very inappropriate. I certainly didn't like the comments that she said about Ezekiel Elliott because remember, champ, remember when Ezekiel Elliott was suspended for the first 6 games during his second season because of allegations of domestic violence? I did not like the fact how Molly Qerim portrayed Ezekiel Elliott as a domestic abuser because remember, Kia Roberts, for those who may not know, that was the former director of investigation for the NFL. She interviewed the accuser at least 6 times, according to the reports. And she felt that no punishment for Ezekiel Elliott because, like the authorities from Columbus, Ohio, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, they felt like Tiffany Thompson, the accuser of Ezekiel Elliott, her testimony was not credible. But the NFL decided to give Ezekiel Elliott 6 games. Because remember, Article 46, Commissioner Goodell is the judge, juror, executioner. He gets to determine however he wants. And I think also, too, they decided to suspend Ezekiel Elliott because, A, they wanted to make a lesson out of domestic violence because of how they mishandle a lot of DV situations. Ray Rice. Remember Josh Brown, the kicker from the New York Giants? And also, too, Ezekiel Elliott had a lot of off the field issues as well. The bar fight situation. Remember the St. Patrick's Day parade when he pulled down the woman's top and exposed her breasts? There's video. My thing is with the commissioner at the time, okay, we don't know whether Zeke did it or he didn't do it regarding the DV accusations. We could have easily suspended him for at least 3 games for what he did the St. Patrick's Day parade and move on. And the problem I have with Molly Qerim is that if you go look at some of the videos that she said about Ezekiel Elliott on a first take, I thought she went too far. But I'm going to say tweener because I'm only being nice and generous. That's how I am. BRF.
For Molly Qerim, I'm gonna go 22. I do think for the most part she was a decent moderator with First Take. I think my only beef with her as a was the moderator. She tried to make herself too much as the star in a lot of cases, as opposed to just really kind of you're moderating. You're supposed to kind of you're making sure whether Stephen A or whichever guest he has on at the time, you're making sure they're getting their point across. They're concise, they're clear. You interject when you need to, like if they're taking too much time and all that stuff like that. But she tried to make it about her a little too much. Like, PSP brought up good points, interrupting, being loud, kind of trying to, she was trying to take a little bit of the spotlight too much for herself. Now, I mean, now don't get it twisted. I mean, we're not going to sit here and not understand why. I mean, Molly Qerim, she, saying Molly Qerim is easy on the eyes is is an understatement. But at the same time, though, it's one of those things where it's kind of like you got to know your place in terms of like if you're a moderator, you got to understand that. Yeah, you're one of the faces of the show, but ultimately at the end of the day, we're not watching First Take to really hear you talk like that. You're just there to moderate. You can kind of chip in every once in a while, but it's Stephen A. and then it's whoever that guest is, whether it's a Ryan Clark or Shannon Sharp at the time, or Dominique Foxworth, whoever is coming in to really kind of interject their own opinion, like a Jay Williams, like it doesn't matter. Like just you're there to mainly like kind of like keep everything in order, keep everything in line. So I think that was like I think that was probably one of my biggest gripes with her as well. But so yeah, like it doesn't make her like it's one, it's like she's a tweener, it doesn't drop her to the point of being a heel, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you definitely weren't a baby face by any stretch of the word either. So yeah, I think definitely tweener for me. But I will say this though, oh Lord, one of the great clips in TV history, Terrell Davis should be shook. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Big fella.
Man.
You probably lean babyface, aren't you?
Yeah. Why the hell y'all looking at me like I'm just like
I'm not looking at you like that.
No, not you, my guy from Georgia. What's up with it? Like really?
Again, it feels like the only reason why you're saying babyface is because of how attractive she is.
Because
the thing is, look,
because it was the look on my face. It's like the surprise on my face was just like not there.
You can hide your words, but you can't hide your face. But
I'm not shocked at all.
You can hide your. In the great words of South Central, you can hide your words, but your attitude is gonna say different. Look, I say babyface because look, she's not egregious like Malika Andrews. She's not that egregious when you think about that. Granted, you have that one controversy, but it wasn't a constant. You had that one controversy, you had a few controversies, but it wasn't that she was attacking the athletes like Malika Andrews was, like a Jason Whitlock was. And it wasn't a situation where there was a lot of controversy attached to her name like Joy Taylor. People may not have liked her, but when you talk about controversy, it's not really a lot to say. You really have
Mm,
no. Think about it.
mm.
Compared to Malika Andrews,
I
Jason
I know,
Whitlock, and Joy Taylor,
but I
those are
understand.
small infractions.
But what about the reports about her and Stephen A. Smith having some type of affair? That was also reported. Now, again, that's just conjecture.
Again, there's rumors started every day. Somebody started a rumor that I like to eat raisins while jumping over trampolines. Does that mean it's true? No.
I'm not
And
saying it's true or not, though, but at the same time,
again, those are insinuation that was never to be proven, and that was never proven. Unlike the Joy Taylor and Emmanuel Acho thing, which Shady McCoy even called out Emmanuel Acho on their own show about it.
Mm,
See, it's a different look. Look, you can spread a rumor every day, and it goes into one ear and out the other. But when it's proven, it's not what you know; it's what you can prove. And when it comes out of somebody's mouth that was there, and they openly are blushing about it, and yeah. So yeah, it's minor infractions compared to what a lot of reporters have done. I understand people don't like her as a moderator. I think that she was a good moderator, not necessarily great. I think the Care Champion was a lot better.
much better.
I think the Care
far
Champion was a
better,
lot better, far better.
far
But
better.
as far as her infractions, I think people did not like her because she was very, very interruptive. And you have to, and to BRF's point, and to your point, PSP, I think that she was trying to be the star, which shit, I mean, you ain't got to try that hard. You ain't got to try that hard in order to be the star as attractive as she is. But she was, like I said, compared to a lot of other commentators, a lot of sports journalism, a lot of sports journalists, excuse me, the things that she did was very, very minor. It wasn't a Malika Andrews, Jason Whitlock, or even Stephen A situation where you're always into a damn controversy, where your name is just where your name is mentioned and controversy follows you. People have a right to not like you, but that's not a and people have a right to not like the way you perform at your craft. Fair enough. But a lot of the stuff that she did was not egregious compared to a lot of other sports journalists and what they were doing as far as in their positions. It was like, oh damn, I can't believe why is she interrupting? Okay. Did she bring up a lot of stupid mess when it came to certain athletes like Malika Andrews has done? No.
But she, but she did make inappropriate comments at one time. Remember when Max Kellerman was bringing up? They were having a discussion about Odell Beckham Jr. This was like him wearing a watch
Yeah.
in a football game, and then he mentioned, and then she brought up, I, that's tennis. Something about Rafael Nadal or Roger Federer, and then she made an inappropriate comment about I've played tennis, I've worn a skirt. But my problem is, champ, with Molly Qerim, as the moderator, you have to be fair. You have to allow the debaters to have their time to give their take. You should interrupt them when they're misrepresenting the public or misinforming the public. Because at the end of the day, it's about context. It's about be fair and punctual and objective. And there were times, and also too with Molly Qerim, another reason why she's also looked at as a tweener, the whole situation with LeVar Ball. Remember with the LeVar Ball when he made the inappropriate comment, you can shift gears with me? To this day, have you seen LeVar Ball back on ESPN?
Nope. Nope. Yeah. Well, like
And
I said,
LeVar Ball, you've labeled him a babyface
yeah,
because
I like
what
LeVar
he is
Ball.
meant for. No, I do too. Even though, as controversial as he is, still he wanted his sons to have a dream and chase their dream.
Yeah, and all of them did
Any
good.
father would do that.
All of them did good too. First round pick, two first round pick, and then you got a hit record. So, hey, hey, it's
But
good.
I'm gonna say, but I say tweener with Molly Qerim. I can't completely call her a baby face because to me she wasn't all that likable. but it was enough for me to at least tolerate. You got to give me this, champ. At least I'm being nice.
At least you're being honest, man. Like I stated, for me personally, and probably because, as you know, I don't let shit bother me. It's just like I throw. It's kind of like I throw. If a boulder falls on me, I throw it to the side. All right, I'm gonna still go to sleep tonight. That's probably just the way I am. It's just like a lot of the egregious stuff that a lot of other reporters have said compared to her. It's peanuts. It's cashews. If you really want me to be honest with you. So when you think about and when I put that into perspective, you think about a lot of dumb stuff that Emmanuel Acho has said. You think about a lot of dumb stuff that Joy Taylor has said, Stephen A. Just to name a few. It's just like compared to them, it's kind of like going to ISS, going to in-school suspension. So I'm not going to hold that too much against you, although you've had a few bad takes. You know, hey, move forward.
All right, next one. Will Cain.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I'll never forget one thing I will remember about Will Cain. I will never believe. You know what I'm about to say. One thing I'll never forget about Will Cain, I'll put him as a tweet. I don't like this motherfucker that much, but I will say this. I never forget when they was talking about the OJ incident. Him and Stephen A. Smith. And I never forget Will Cain, it was like, so you think somebody should get thrown in jail for being stupid? And Stephen A. said, well, pretty much. He said OJ should be thrown in jail just for being stupid. He said, so you think a person should go to jail just for being stupid? He said, yeah, pretty much. He said, well, you should be careful with that because your ass will be doing a life sentence if that was the case. So I think that was you talking about. So go back and look at it.
Yeah, I remember that clip. This was at the time before when OJ was granted parole and all that stuff.
And look, I give him this. He was fair in that case. He said, look, I think he is going to get
justice.
Parole,
yeah, he was railroaded.
But yeah, he was going to get parole, but in the totality of things, he said for this case, okay, I think he should get parole. But in the totality of everything, in my humble opinion, he doesn't deserve it. But I think he will get parole. Will Cain, I really don't do the guy. I really don't do the Fox guys that much. But in ways, he was tolerable at times, I will say, because he used to. That was one of the few guys who was not nice when it came to Stephen A. Smith.
Oh yeah,
He was not as relentless as Stephen A. was with his words. Will Cain was just as relentless. So I mean, and look, I'm not gonna lie, it was good to see him humble Stephen A. sometimes. Like, mofo, you don't know everything. So, and people can say whatever they want to and try to bring no. It's good. I'm gonna take a page out of Flash's book. Shout out to Flash. It's good to be humbled at times. And I know sometimes he humbled Stephen A.'s ass on First Take. And I thoroughly enjoyed it because guess what? You as a journalist, you don't know everything. Everybody on this damn panel got degrees. Everybody's been in the journalistic world. And sometimes, look, much like we have on the Uncensored show, sometimes you have to have guys that don't necessarily agree with you. I think Cam Newton showed us that when he interviewed Jason Whitlock. You have to have guys that come from a different walk of life, that come from a different spectrum than you do, in order to show you, hey, there's another way to look at things.
It's about creating that dialogue.
And create that dialogue. And like I said, Will Cain was tolerable. But I used to love the way, but that was the best clapback I have ever heard somebody say to Stephen A. Smith. He said, when you look at it, that's not the case. Otherwise, you'd be doing consecutive life sentences. I was like, damn. But he was tolerable, so I call him a tweener. Like I said, he wasn't, from what I have read and the times that I have seen him, I don't know how he's been recently, but at the time that I've watched him when he was on ESPN, he was tolerable. Now, I don't know what he's doing over there at Fox, and everybody knows that the monster comes out when you go on Fox for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, but he was and tolerable on ESPN. Yeah, and like I said, him humbling Stephen A. Smith was something that I thoroughly enjoyed. So I mean, just on the strength of him humbling Stephen A. at the time, I give him the tweener. Now, when he went to Fox, there was a lot of stuff I disagreed with, but in reality of the situation, uh, when he was on ESPN, he was tolerable. So the strength of him just humbling Stephen A. Smith, I give him the tweener. But he's about he's about two steps from being a heel for me because sometimes he could get out of line and say some of the most real off the wall stuff. But he's cutting it close with the tweener label.
BRF.
Yeah, I'm kind of on board with Champ as far as like where he is. He's a tweener. Um, I did enjoy him on first take. I would say there's probably like if you look at the totality of the run of first take, I would probably say the two guys that really weren't like necessarily like they didn't let Stephen A. handle them. It's probably him and Max Kellerman. When you look at the totality of first take and like who were able to give back as much as they took, it would probably be those two. Now, yeah, of course he has his political viewpoints that we don't agree with, but I don't necessarily want to focus on that as much as say just the sports aspect when he was on first take and was discussing stuff with Stephen A. Smith. I mean, it's not like he wasn't knowledgeable. It's not like he doesn't know his stuff. I mean, he definitely knew his stuff. Um, just some viewpoints that you could hear him and you kind of could get with it, and then there were some viewpoints he had and you're just like yeah, no. So
Remember
but
what he said
yeah.
about the Confederate flag?
Oh man, just like I can't really, yeah, some of the stuff like particularly that you can't get with that, but it wasn't like he's kind of towing that tweener heel line, especially with comments like what he said about the Confederate flag. But I think I think he was palatable, tolerable enough to just kind of to be like, you know what, I might not necessarily agree with you, but you do have knowledge and you do know what you're talking about. So you know what, I'll kind of okay, yeah, tolerable, so tweener.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards here with Will Cain because there were times I thought he stretched too far. The Confederate flag. Remember before what he said about Antonio Brown before AB self-destructed. Remember what he said about Antonio Brown
Yeah,
about a
refresh my
ticket
memory
time
just a
bomb.
little bit.
Remember him being like a ticket time bomb, like in something exploding, waiting to happen. This is what he said on first take. I'm paraphrasing.
Okay.
When I look at Will Cain, and remember, he was one of the few. He was also one of the people who felt that Washington should have kept the R name champ.
Yeah.
To which Max Kellerman was very outspoken and said he was against it. And we all know if you say that term in a Native American reservation,
And get shanked. That's your fault. Just being real.
I did like the OJ part that you mentioned, champ. But yes, Will Cain was about justice because at least he said it, justice. OJ, look, look, I don't want to be disrespectful because I know he's gone now, but regarding the parole, he deserved parole because let's be honest, he was railroaded. I mean, you don't sentence a man 33 years basically for stealing his own stuff. You're doing, and remember, there's no coincidence that he was convicted on the exact date he was found not guilty of the double murder trials.
Yeah, they said
And
that in
keep
the
in mind,
documentary.
yeah, and keep in mind that 33, that's the same number in millions he owed the Goldman family and the Cole Brown Simpsons family after he was found liable in the civil lawsuit. So Will Cain, I didn't agree. I certainly don't agree with his political takes. I did like the fact that he kind of challenged Stephen A. Smith from time to time about the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, he was all right. I still lean heel.
Yeah, and to and it speaks to my ignorance at this point because at one point I didn't see anything wrong with the rebel flag. And like I said, it spoke to my ignorance because I'm just gonna be real. When I saw Andre 3000 wear that belt, and I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, I wanted one. When I saw Kanye West draped in it, and I saw David Banner them in it, I wanted one. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to the audience. I didn't understand what they needed. I thought it was a Southern Georgia type of flag thing. I remember Pastor Troy had the state flag with the rebel flag attached to it in his video. Remember this the city when he was in front of the state penitentiary? So yeah, that speaks to my ignorance that at one point I thought nothing was wrong with the rebel flag because some of the guys who I was trying to dress like and be like was doing it. But ignorance is no excuse for the letter of the law, to your point, PSP. So yes, I'm seeing why that you lean heel. And like I stated, he's not one of those tweeners where yeah, he's a tweener, but like I stated, just to see him humble Stephen A. Smith a lot, that was enough to put him at tweeners. But he was small steps away from being a heel.
Listen, I'm being nice in terms of heel. Like I said, with heel, I can't think of a bigger heel, literally and figuratively, than Jason Whitlock. And the fact that Nick Fuentes, of all people, is taking the time to call you a token, that should tell all of us what we need to know. You said it yourself, champ. It's one thing for your own community to say that about you. It's entirely another thing when someone outside your community is saying that.
especially
Absolutely.
somebody like Nick
Like Nick
Fuentes calling you that when he needs to touch
you might.
grass in his
I
own
mean,
right.
Nick Fuentes said something about you. David Duke might as well say something about you.
I'm telling
To
you,
be
he need to
real.
touch grass in his own right.
Exactly.
Uh, all right, this last one for Babyface Heel. Michelle Tafoya.
That's another one. I think she's
I used to like her work during her days in ESPN,
the Monday
ABC
Night
Sports,
Football.
NBC. Yeah, but with her political beliefs and
She instantly became I mean, like when you got her away, like when you kind of when she started kind of like showing her true colors after the Monday Night Football, and now she's running for Senate and trying to run for Senate and all that other stuff. She became an instant heel and like some of her viewpoints and just like she's in Sage Steel territory for me. She's in Sage Steel territory. So there's really
no,
no
there's
other
Pam Bondi. You could use Pam Bondi.
there's no like there's no other explanation that really needs to be said. All we're gonna say is at the end of the day, when the chips are down, them tokens are going to be spent.
Big fella.
Heel. I'm not gonna be nice on this one.
She a heel.
Go look up the rap sheet. Look up the rap sheet, and that's just how it is. You are what you repeatedly do.
Mm.
And look, let's just be clear. I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to say I speak for everyone when I say this, but I think I can. It's not the political beliefs that people are against. It's when you take that, kind of like what we was talking about earlier with the Bible, and spew that into a lot of nonsense and a bunch of dumb buffoonery that really everybody knows that's not true. And when you talk about how I'm going to sit around here and tell people that she is opposed to saying that skin color matters and saying like she was against critical race theory, she was against a lot of stuff like that. It's like, okay, what about educating? That's all critical race theory is educating. Why are you so quick to hide it? It's kind of like you me showing you all the good parts of my house, but not showing you the hose pipe broke. That's the thing. So it's not just political beliefs, it's how far you're willing to take it. You're willing to hide history. You're willing to spew false information. Remember the whole incident where she said 30% of Californians are homeless. Remember that incident? It's
Remember that
like,
situation that when she was on The View?
yeah. Um, it gets weird at a certain point. Like I said, political beliefs are one thing. There's been a lot of guys who were Republicans who were cool. There's been a lot of women that were Republicans. We're cool. We're not against that. Okay. We're against it with political views when it hurts somebody. You could be political and still not be so out of touch with everything. And not to mention, remember that whole clout chasing that she did with the repost that she did. She reposted the airplane letter.
Uh,
So it's just it gets to a point where you just have to just and again, nobody's against political belief. Undertaker and Kane are a prime example of that, and I hate to keep using them as an example, but Undertaker and Kane are a prime example of you can be conservative and still be likable, and
as long as you
still,
have integrity.
as long as you have integrity. Flash is another prime example. One of the guys, he's conservative. He has integrity. It's when you let your political beliefs be your whole identity at one point and you spew the wrong thing and put out false information to hurt people. That's the problem that people have with a lot of these things. Because why are you so against critical race theory? Why are you so against DEI? Why are you so against a lot of other things that can help someone? Because if the shoe was on the other foot, wouldn't you want to help? It's not political beliefs. It's the views that you have. There's a difference between being political and just being a dumbass. Let's just call it like it is. Because just like there's a lot of dumbass Republicans, there's a lot of dumbass Democrats out there.
That's true.
So let's just call it like we see it. It's not political beliefs. It's dumb views that you have that hurts people. So
I think it's just dumbassness, champ, when you don't practice what you preach.
exactly.
And when you're leaving out stuff or misinforming stuff, that says a lot about you. That says a lot about your character. And before I knew all about Michelle Tafoya's political views and everything else, I used to like her. I admired her work on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football. I mean, she was one of the best female reporters. She also covered the NBA as well as a sideline reporter. It's just that now I can't view her the same. And that's just tough. Um, Fellas, let's talk about Patrick Beverly with D Wade. Um, Patrick Beverly made an argument. He said something about James Harden being better than Dwayne Wade. And basically, Dwayne Wade took the time to respond, saying, Bev was definitely very definitive in his answer. And I was just sitting there like, okay, Pat, what's your facts to say that someone's better? Just come out and say what I personally like, the style of play that I like to see is X, Y, and Z. Don't you ever fix your mouth to say nobody's better than me when you wasn't better than me. Like, you can't do that. You're talking about a better player. You're talking about every aspect of the game of basketball. You know how good I was at a lot of aspects of the game. Wade went on to express disagreement with positioning one player as better than the other, particularly when talking about those who would be considered among the top 75 in the league. Notably, this part of his response is in line with comments recently made by Michael Jordan, who's not fond of the larger GOAT debate and instead sees every accomplished player as a part of a shared legacy that continues to build with each generation. He also added, You're not in the top 75. Stop talking about the people in the top 75. I don't understand where this came from. Everybody in that top 75 is better at something than someone else, but we all in that room for a reason. This is just factual. I don't understand it. And Patrick Beverley, to his credit, he still stand by saying that James Harden is better than Dwayne Wade. Look, Patrick Beverley, I disagree with James Harden being the better overall player than Dwayne Wade. I understand he and James Harden are good friends. They're former teammates going back to their time in Houston. If he would have made an argument for James Harden being the better offensive player than Dwayne Wade, that's fair. BRF and Champ can't argue or dispute that because offensively, James Harden was a scoring machine. James Harden did at one point had a 60-point triple double.
Well, I'll say the only thing James Harden may do better offensively for me is shoot the three ball. When you look at
passer. James Harden could run the point.
Yeah, but I mean, but I also look at the type of offense that James Harden was in, that Mike D'Antoni offense as well. You kind of have to look at that as well. You have to look at the situations both players was in. Dwayne Wade wasn't really asked to be a point guard like that. James Harden was, and I mean, yeah, granted, he was an amazing playmaker. He was able to get triple doubles and assists and all that stuff. But I feel like if Dwayne Wade was asked to do similar things, I think he could have been just as good a playmaker. I think he could have done a lot of things that James Harden did just as well. Just I don't know, just to kind of.
But BRF, if that's the case, remember Oklahoma City, they traded him to Houston. It was either between him or Serge Ibaka because of the tax situation. And remember, Jeremy Lin was there in Houston when James Harden was traded to Houston, and James Harden took over. And remember, let's not forget the year 2014. People keep bringing up Mike D'Antoni with James Harden. In my opinion, and I agree with Chris Broussard, James Harden should have won the MVP in 2014. Because you look at what James Harden did, averaging around 27 and 7 when Dwight Howard, who was their second best player on that team, didn't play that much of the season. The Houston Rockets, they were the second seed in the Western Conference. Mike D'Antoni, the thing he did with James Harden was help James Harden distribute the ball more, help James Harden not dribble, as Charles Barkley said, dribble, focus more on moving the ball a little bit more, spreading the ball more. James Harden could actually play the point. He was capable of playing the point during his time in OKC. I think Harden is the better offensive player than D Wade. Better three-point shooter. Now, better at getting to the line. D Wade can finish to the line. But James Harden isn't shafty because James Harden is crafty. After all, he's 6'5", a legit 220, 225. James Harden don't care. He's going to get to the free throw line, and he's going to make a bunch of free throws.
Yeah.
James Harden, with the step back, he also has the Euro step, the passing ability. Plus, the reason why they traded Clint Capella to the Atlanta Hawks, your team, BRF champ, is because of Russell Westbrook. Because Russell Westbrook wasn't that great of a three-point shooter. Westbrook, as far as his scoring ability, was in the mid-range, the pull-up mid-range game, and his ability to attack the basket, which is why they moved on from Clint Capella. James Harden can James Harden can feed the ball in different situations. And when he was in Brooklyn, he was the point in Brooklyn. James Harden was the point. Kyrie was the 2. KD was either the 3 or the 4. Remember, James Harden to Philadelphia. The reason why Philadelphia decided to move on from Ben Simmons and go with James Harden, because they felt like here's a guy in James Harden who may not be the same caliber player he was in Houston, but is still capable of giving me 20 and 12. Yeah. Offensively, I think James Harden wins the debate because not only his three-point shooting, what he does as far as getting dimes, getting assists, his passing, his playmaking, putting guys in better situations to score the basketball. D Wade, I give the mid-range game to D Wade. I give the athleticism, the dunking ability, the explosion, attacking to the basket. But outside and also off the ball. Obviously, Harden needs more of the ball. I'm sorry, I sound wrong when I say that. Harden doesn't move well off the ball compared to Dwayne Wade.
Yeah,
Because we saw in Miami, BRF, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. LeBron had to run the point. D Wade moved well off the ball. That's something that he brings compared to James Harden, that D Wade clears. If Patrick Beverly wanted to say better offensive player, I could see that. Harden is more crafty. Harden's a better passer. Harden's a better playmaker. Harden's a better shooter. And score, Harden is up there.
And it, but from yeah, I could see that. But honestly, but he makes it. Patrick Beverly would make it seem like that gap is huge, and it's not.
It's not that huge,
It's not that
but I
huge.
still give Harden the edge, though, nevertheless. I have to give Harden the edge because he could do more on the offensive side than Wade. Now, where's the clear gap? Defense. James Harden, I'm sorry. Does it look like he cares or plays defense?
No, the only thing I remember
it's kind of like it's kind of like James. It's kind of like Champ trying to go on his diet. We all know Champ wants to skip and cheat on some meals here and there.
Yeah, had a cheat day today. It's Easter, but it's Easter. It's Good Friday, but look, I have no look. I'm not saying that he is better, but I have no problem with Patrick Beverly saying that he's better.
I do.
I do not.
I'll let you go ahead.
I really look at it. I'm gonna just be real. There was a point in time where Steph Curry was the best player in the league, and James Harden, as far as production was concerned, was right up there with him. In fact, 3 years in a row, there were controversies on who should have really won the MVP. Am I lying?
You're not lying, but
You're
I
not
still
lying.
have a problem with it.
Peak for peak. I mean, the thing is, we can factor in championships. We can factor in a lot of that. But when you talk about peak for 3 years straight, James Harden was the scoring champion. He was the assist leader for 2 years in a row. Not just and those years between, let me go back to it, between 2018 and 2020, he was lighting the league up.
One point, he averaged 35 points a game in a season.
So the thing is, I have no problem. Now, people are going to make the championship argument, and I give you that. I will give you that.
I ain't even gonna make the championship argument,
but if you talk about peak offensively, peak weaponry, peak, if you look peak for peak, take championships out of it. Peak for peak, I have no problem with Patrick Beverly saying James Harden was better than D Wade, because like I asked earlier, who had the better peak? It was James Harden. Peak for peak, James Harden. In totality, who made the team better, things of that nature, you could argue D Wade, because it takes a lot. I always say this, and people are going to hate me when I say this, but it's true. It takes a lot more strength when you're an alpha to be a beta than when you're a beta to be an alpha.
Absolutely.
And when you see a monster like LeBron James on your team, and you have another monster in the form of Chris Bosh that's on your team, and you recognize that you have to take a step back, although you are as dominant as you were, and play a lesser role to one of the greatest players of all time, much like how Kobe did with Shaq, that takes a lot of strength. Because, hell, I'm an all-star MVP. I am a finals MVP. I was the sole reason why Shaq has his 4th ring. We came back from you talk about coming back from 3-1. Hell, we came back from 2-0 to the Dallas Mavericks. Hellified talented team, coached by Avery Johnson and headed out by Dirk Nowitzki. I've been there. So it takes a hell of a lot of strength to go from alpha to beta than it is to beta to alpha. And that's what D Wade was able to do. He was able to take a beta role to say, okay, I got this monster LeBron James on my team. Let me take a step back so I can win. Hell, Kobe did the same thing when it came to Shaq. Phil Jackson made sure of it. I don't think he gets a lot of credit for that. Dialing it back and saying, hey, because remember at the beginning of the season in 01, Shaq was hurt at the beginning of the season. Shaq was hurt. And Kobe was putting up damn near 40 points a game.
Yeah, that's also because at that time, Shaq wasn't taking care of his conditioning.
Exactly.
Like Kobe did during the offseason. Shaq,
Exactly.
Stephen A. talked about how Kobe, Russell, get up 5, 6 o'clock in the morning in training. And one day, Kobe in the training or in the lounge room, and he's seeing Shaq eating 2 Big Macs.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what Stephen A. Smith said. I've heard him say that all the time. Shaq had a problem with Big Macs.
I had everybody back when Big Macs were actually good. I'd have had a problem with it. But for Pete, I have no problem with Patrick Beverly saying James Harden getting better. Like I stated, the main thing that I would give is that D Wade did everything as far as intangible to make his team better. And he didn't, request trades out the ass every time he saw the ship going down. Now, granted, you can sit around here and people can say, whatever, but guess what? If I see things going left, it's time to get the hell on. And if you see things going left at your job, if somebody offer you a whole bunch of money, say, come get this money, I got an opportunity for you. You ain't gonna take it? Yeah, you is. So I don't blame him for that, but I really wish that he could have stuck it out in a lot of areas. Not to mention, the Daryl Morey situation, which I don't think we'll ever get another saga. That was a saga for the ages. It was kind of like, one of those anticlimactic sagas. You remember the BRF? You remember the Garlic Jr. saga in Dragon Ball Z?
I don't.
Damn. But it was climactic. He comes back and gets, shipped off to the dead zone once again. You did all of that just to, do nothing. But peak for peak, James Harden for 3 years straight, it was him and Steph Curry as the best player in the league. Him and Steph Curry. They were right up there with each other, just fighting each other for that title. I didn't say the best team. I said the best player as far as MVPs were concerned. Peak for peak, 2014, 2018 through 2020. Those years are very much exceeding when it comes to D Wade. So I have no problem with him saying that. Like I said, the main thing I give D Wade credit for is taking a step back and realizing what it took to win. But if you look over their resumes, guess what? Looks a little bit outside of those 3 championship rings. James Harden's resume looks a little bit better. Let's look at this. James Harden, MVP, 11-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA first team. D Wade only has 2. 2-time All-NBA third team. Dwayne Wade has 3. 3-time scoring champion. 2-time assist leader. Not to mention 6th man of the year, one of only 2 men in the history of the NBA to win the MVP and the MVP and the 6th man of the year, excuse me. So like I say, the scoring champion and MVP candidate 3 years in a row, not to mention 2014. And let's not forget about that 2015 season. Damn, BRL. You over there like Dark Man.
I don't think that's him. I think there's probably some noise from the family side.
I was kind of moving some stuff around too. That was me. I don't know, man. I see when we're talking about the peak and everything like that, it's like we're mainly focusing on the offense. Wait
a second. I did not say James Harden better all around than Dwayne Wade.
No. Hear me out. No. Hear me out.
No,
This is
I
what.
know, no, not y'all. Again, once again, I'm informing the public.
No. See, this no. Hear me out. Hear me out. My beef ain't no. See, this is where I want to take Patrick Beverly and I want to shake him because here's my thing. It's I'm not saying y'all, and it's not y'all. I'm just saying it's like they just look at the him averaging 30, 33, 34 points, and I get all that. I get all that. Offensively, he has one of the greatest peaks we've seen. I get that. But it's like people have to remember the NBA is played on both sides of the ball. And I'm not saying it's y'all. The NBA is played on both sides of the ball. Yes, James Harden was a tremendous offensive player, but we need to remember for a 10-year stretch, D Wade averaged 25, 5, and 7 on almost 50% shooting, where at the same time still giving you all NBA defense on the other side of the floor. This man 1 year finished third in defensive player of the year voting. This man has made all defensive teams. This is where I have a problem with Patrick Beverly saying James Harden is a better player than Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade had a year where he averaged 30, but you have to remember his best year is 30. James Harden's best year is like 35, 36. D Wade is still killing you on the other side of the court as well. D Wade is my third greatest shooting guard ever. Third ever is Mike, is Kobe, is D Wade. Does James Harden have the top 5 shooting guard of all time consideration? Yes, he does. But when I'm looking at the totality, when I think about Pete, I'm looking at everything, not just on the offensive side of the floor. D Wade is killing you offensively, but he is also taking it from you defensively and continually to give it to you offensively. That's where I have a problem with him saying James Harden is better than D Wade, because James Harden, the slight offensive gap that Harden may have in terms of being better than D Wade, that does not cover the canyon defensively that Dwayne Wade has over James Harden. That's where I'm like, Pat, what are you doing? Yes, I know James Harden is great offensively, but if you're looking at the totality of the player, this is where I bring it back as far as like peak for peak. Offensively, yes, James Harden is better, but when I'm looking at the totality peak for peak in both sides of the floor, for me, even with that little gap James Harden has over D Wade offensively, that defensive gap is so big, I don't care, because D Wade is still capable of giving you 30 and giving you that all NBA defense. That's where I have a problem with. That's my beef. James Harden, as good as he is offensively, he still don't touch Dwayne Wade for me, because D Wade can damn near match you offensively, and you ain't touching him defensively. That's where my argument. That's where my argument comes in. So yes, Ice. That's where I was saying I have a problem with him saying that, because Pat want to focus on just the offense. No, sir, it ain't just about that. You got to look at both sides of the floor. D Wade, James Harden isn't clearing D Wade enough offensively when you look at that gap on the other side of the floor. So that's where my argument comes in.
And I agree with you, BRF. I think there's more to it than just the offense. Again, I said if it were offense, Pat Beverly would have a great argument for James Harden being the best.
Yeah,
but when you're talking about the totality of the game, not just on the offense but on the defense, that's where Pat loses me. Because defense, I'm sorry, a lot of times James Harden, it's not that he can't play defense. A lot of times he just doesn't want to.
He don't want to.
Yeah. And people would, and I'm not gonna lie. Remember when he was running down the court and the guy was behind him, and he smacked the ball out of his hand. And they say if people was making memes about it, they say James Harden don't play defense. That was the funniest meme I ever seen.
So
But
it's kind of like a dude who says I can hit the girl in bed, but then sooner or later when the girl actually wants to try to get some with the dude falls asleep. That's what it is. That's how that's how James Harden is with the defense. So there you go.
so yeah, so that's that. So that's what that was for,
Sorry if I
like.
sound so graphic. Thank you to Jim Cornette as always. I always
But
love Jim Cornette's colorfulness.
so yeah, so that's like I said, I wasn't in no way, shape, or form was I getting on y'all at all. It's just I feel like we're like people were so enamored with what James Harden did offensively for those 3 years. When you look at the 30 some odd points per game, when you look at the high usage rate, when you look at the 32 straight games of scoring at least 30 points, um,
BRF,
people,
is it because of what Patrick Beverly said, or is it because I think primarily the younger generation? Because a lot of younger generation people will probably lean on and they'll say James Harden because you know how Flash is when he says we're done with the in the 80s, the 90s, the thousands, or all that other shit.
like yeah, and it's like and like I've said this in the chat before talking to the young guys. I don't I don't want to be one of these like 40-year-olds that just hark on the past and talk about how good they were and how these players wouldn't stand a chance, because ultimately at the end of the day it's like the game evolves and it's gonna evolve. And let's keep it a buck. The athletes of today are better than the athletes of yesteryear. They just are. But but it's like the totality of everything. You look at technological advances that they have, medicine, working out, stuff like that, just things that have grown over the years to go along with the athleticism of the players and the access they have to. But then at the same time, it's like I say, you're not about to sit here and tell me guys like Wilt, guys like like Prime Mike, guys like Dominique, guys like Kareem, guys like Magic Bird. You're not about to sit here and tell me with a straight face generational talents like I've mentioned, you don't implant them in this era with this technology in this medicine. You're not about to sit here and tell me with their skill sets they wouldn't do damage in this era. So that's why I say that's it's one of those things where it's just like we gotta recognize, bro. Like that's why they call them generational talents.
Exactly.
That's why the term exists. You can drop them in any era, in any evolution, and they're going to do their thing. It's just how it is. We can play the hype, like people say, "Oh, don't use hypotheticals." But it's like you can't say don't use hypotheticals, but then at the same time, it's like, man, if you put Giannis in this era, he'll do this, and this. I'm like, come on, man, you gotta pick struggle. You gotta pick a lane. You can't have it. You can't have it both ways. So that's why the younger generation may lean with Harden, but that's why I say when I want to look at a player's peak, it ain't just the offense. And I feel like Pat was he was focusing too much on to say James Harden is better than Dwayne Wade. You are seriously only focusing on the offensive side of the court. That's why I say Dwayne. If you're gonna give me a choice between a guy with James Harden skill set and a guy with D Wade skill set, 10 times out of 10, I'm picking Dwayne Wade, because that man gonna give me 30 and still gonna destroy you on the defensive side of the ball.
that's fair.
That's fair. And I think what's even more fair, BRF, even though you may find it blasphemous for Pat Bev to say James Harden better than Dwayne Wade, at least thank God it wasn't Paul Pierce saying that Pierce saying I'm better than Dwayne Wade.
When Paul Pierce said that, that's one of the few times I wanted to look a player in his face dead on and say, "What in the hell is you talking about?"
Or you could have just given the Tiger mug shot.
With the
Hey,
blanket over his head.
in the great words of Sugar Free, look at you, always bringing up the past. If I wasn't on parole, I would have kicked you. So
And the thing is, Paul Pierce is one of the more underrated stars of the past like 25 years. Paul Pierce was good. Don't you ever fix your mouth to say you were better than Dwayne Wade ever again.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Fellas, we got like 42 minutes left on the show. Favorite Tisha Campbell moment. I'm gonna go. The reason why I picked Tisha Campbell, like myself and Champ, she's a Libra. For those who may not know, Tisha Campbell is a Libra, and I gotta admit, '90s, she was when you talk about, especially for Black women, there's Vivica A. Fox, Toni Braxton, Halle Berry, Vanessa Williams, Nia Long, Tashina Arnold, a lot of Black women. You got to throw in Tisha Campbell because she was very attractive,
Mm-hmm.
especially her track Push. I like that track Push, but her, of course, the Martin Lawrence show. I mean, to see her, the way she was acting in Gina, how the way she played the character Gina, how the way she handled other characters that Martin Lawrence portrayed, such as Shanae, Mama Payne, Uncle Jerome, Otis, a lot of other characters. I love that about Tisha. Her and Tashina Arnold, they have a great relationship. They're going back to their days, I think like 12 or 13 years old. Of course, how the way she played My Wife and Kids, playing Jay Kyle, the wife of Michael Kyle, portrayed by the great Damon Wayans. I also love about what I love about Tisha Campbell is that she has been open about autism. As we all know, April is Autism Awareness Month. She talked about her son Zen with autism. And I just love the fact that she has brought so much awareness to autism. And like I said, her, my professor from college, Jennifer Lazarus, a lot of other people who know boys or girls who deal with autism. I thank y'all. Y'all give us a reason every single day for us to continue to strive, to continue to get better and pursue. And it's women like y'all that give us a reason for sons and daughters to just continue and do the best that we can. But Tisha Campbell, I loved her work. Beautiful, beautiful, attractive woman. I love the humor side. And now she's even on the Miss Pat show. I see her even doing some home things, some comedy specials here and there. I love that about Tisha. Only thing I wish Martin on the Martin show they would stop doing was making fun of that big ass apple head that she had at the time because they were getting on her for that big apple head. You know the jokes how they made with Tisha, but I love Tisha, and I still watch the Martin show. I still love her character. I still love her personality. What was y'all favorite Tisha moment?
House party.
Yeah,
You look so good. You look so fine, but ain't my type of hype, baby. Yeah,
babe.
man. Look, before Martin, it was house party. It was house party. So no, I loved every minute of house party, man. That was
I'm gonna beat your fucking ass.
That was hilarious.
that was
Great.
crazy.
And the thing is, people forget Full Force was an R&B group, and to
Exactly.
Let's
ha-
not forget school days.
and to be able to pull off that type of humor. Full Force, shout out, boy, they were great in those movies, bro.
All right now. The little one was the best one, man. Oh man, that was crazy. I never forget when they had that bed attached to her head in the Martin show, and then
Oh,
Tommy pulled,
yeah, I
yeah,
remember
and then
that
Tommy
one.
pulled out the pulled out the blowtorch in the
Blowtorch.
building. Yeah, he
I
said, "Oh,
need this for work, man.
you ain't got no job, man."
Job.
So, that one was good. Her playing a lot of the movies that she played in, man, that was great. Um, it's crazy how you only remember for the Martin show, but that's your most iconic role, Dad in House Party. Um, my wife and kids was real good too.
Jim,
So
do you remember the show Cousin Skeeter?
yeah, I remember the show
Mm.
Cousin Street. I remember that.
You know she
Skeeter,
portrayed. Yeah,
yeah,
she was on Cousin
Skeeter on
Skeeter.
my
Yeah,
mind. Think about
Mm.
you all the time.
yeah,
I love that, man. That interview, Megan, especially Megan, young Megan Good was on that show, man. So
yeah. And then also she also did. She was also in Seth Rogen's movie. Zach and Minnie did the porno.
oh yeah, when she was with what's the guy's name?
Yes.
Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Craig
Craig
Ferguson.
Robinson.
Craig
I
Robinson,
Craig
yeah.
Ferguson.
Craig Robinson.
Craig
Yeah.
Robinson. Hey, I love Craig Robinson, man.
Yeah.
Especially in the office. Por favor, tequila, senor. So,
Oh
I
god.
love that, man.
Oh my god.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to me. I bit the hell out of that when he did that. I went to the bar the very next day and did that. Por favor, tequila, senor. That
Hmm.
was
Mm.
that was one of the funniest things that I and she be in her fashion bag, man. Tisha Campbell be in that fashion bag. So, I gotta give her that. Um yeah, man, but my wife and kids, Martin, I mean, Courage to Soar. Remember that one? Um remember when
Yeah.
she was remember she was in another 48 hours with Eddie Murphy back when
Mm.
he was at his peak. That was
You know she was also in that Boomerang movie with Eddie Murphy.
yeah, she was also in the Boomerang. Oh, remember Sprung?
Yes.
Yes.
Huh.
That was that Last Place on Earth. That was a good one. Um, yeah, that was good. That was good, man. And remember when she was in that video with Tony Braxton? You making me high?
Yeah.
Yes. Her
Yes.
and Vivica A. Fox was also on that track.
Yeah.
Man, that video shoot, bruh.
I
Good
told you that's my
God.
favorite song from Tony Braxton because I saw
That
a more sexier side from Tony, given the
that
fact that she is a Christian girl herself.
who would have beat somebody up just to get on that video shoot? My God.
Hey
Prime
man.
Tisha Campbell, Prime Vivica A. Fox, and Tony Braxton.
Hey, out of
Hey,
guys
but like I said,
in
the
a row.
Mm.
90s, 90s was the way for women, especially them black women. You had Lisa Ray McCoy,
Mm.
you had Nia Long, you had Vanessa Williams, you had Vivica A. Fox, you had Tashina
Sanaa
Arnold, you had
Lathan.
Tisha Campbell, Sanaa Lathan. You had a lot of beautiful, fine black women, and Tisha Campbell was definitely up there.
And
So
don't forget about. I know that we were young. Well, they were our age anyway, so it's not like it's in it. Remember Megan Good, a young Megan Good. Remember Kyla Pratt. I remember Kyla
I,
Pratt.
I'm I'm talking about the women that were 25 and up at that
Yeah,
time, champ.
at that time, but remember those girls were our age during that time. But
They were our age, but who wouldn't mind someone our age during the 90s to actually be with someone like a Tisha Campbell?
yeah, that's just when you put it that way. But yeah, that was man. Let's not forget about Whitney. Whitney was great. I
Oh
know she
yeah,
was great during the time.
Angela
Angela
Bassett too,
Bassett, yeah,
Layla
Angela
Rochon.
Bassett. Yeah,
But
that. Hey man, and it was perfectly. It was amazing.
like I said, man, I love Tisha, especially what she has been doing with autism, bringing awareness to autism. And I hope one day I get to do an interview with her just to talk about her journey, and also she from Jersey too. That's another reason why I also wanted to talk about her. I mean, like her from Jersey talking to the New Jersey Genius. I mean, that would be great. And for us to bring awareness to autism, I would love that. And like I said, I have a lot of respect and admiration for her. And I know her and Martin, they had this situation which ended the show Martin, but I'm kind of glad though that they've reconciled. You know exactly when I'm referred to BRF and Champ and
Yeah.
Thomas McCall Ford, Tommy, rest his soul, was the one that actually got them together.
Yeah.
So
He was
it
Tommy
was
and everything.
actually,
Y'all noticed that, right?
yeah, that was the only time he was doing his job on that day, getting them together. But I love Tisha Campbell, man. BRF, man.
Yeah, you definitely can't talk about her without talking about Martin and just the cultural impact that show had on us growing up. Um, Definitely the House Party movies. Honestly, though, I feel like the coolest one was House Party 3, when Kid was getting married, and then it was almost like shout out to Angela Means, hilarious woman, great actress. Um, that you could kind of sense a little bit of jealousy from her in that movie because they always talked about Sydney. So I thought it was great to bring her back to kind of like at the way the flow of the movie was going, to kind of kill off that jealousy for Sydney, to kind of have her kind of realize, like, kid's great, don't get me wrong, but he want to be with you. So you ain't got to worry about me. Let that go. So I think that was one of the coolest parts as far as like those movies. But I mean, yeah, like but the original House Party, the dancing scene in the original House Party. I mean, come on, man, those scenes like set the tone for like what hip hop and what everything was getting ready to really kind of ball up and turn into, as far as like the music, the fashion, the style, just everything about it really kind of helped set the tone. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like I crushed on her the most was like my wife and kids. I mean, I think I crushed on her the most then, and because it was like seeing her full on, just you knew she had, like, from Martin, you knew she had a sense of humor, but it was almost like she really kind of put it on full display with Damon Wayans and my wife and kid. It was kind of like she put it on full display, and you could see it, and it just is talent, man. One thing you cannot offset in any way, shape, or form is like it's just talent. Like you have it. Um, and I think for me, even though she's done like a bunch of stuff and she's done a lot of great things, for me, it's those that really kind of set the standard for me with her, as far as everything, and just kind of seeing her now and kind of really kind of like a renaissance in her career, like doing like the TV shows, and you hear her going around talking, and you brought up with Martin, and just like them being, the reconciliation there, and like in like one of her more recent her sound bites, just basically saying she got that man to the end. She got his back no matter what. And as Martin fans, like all of us are, that kind of bring a little peace to your soul, knowing that their relationship is back and is good like that, knowing how freaking hilarious that show was at its peak. I mean, so yeah, Tisha Campbell for me is definitely one of those that we need to be giving flowers to, and and honestly though, I'd shout out to you as well, PSP, for bringing up the autism awareness, as far as like her son is concerned, and all the the contribution and everything that she's trying to she awareness of that, the contribution that she's giving to that is, and what I'm saying, is always admirable like that, when a person, like, for me, there's something different there when someone has like that, just that firsthand experience in it, and then just wants to kind of educate, teach the masses, but yet find a way to kind of make things better, and just kind of putting it all in perspective. So there's just like an added level of admiration and respect there. So yeah, definitely shout out to Tisha Campbell. But yeah, those shows, movies, for me, just really kind of just encapsulate her, as far as like her talent and just how good she is as an actress. And yeah, I mean, come on, like the '90s and everything. I mean, any dude, if you're a dude growing up back then, you can't say you didn't have a crush on her. So shout out to Tisha Campbell.
Absolutely, man. And fellas, one last subject. Favorite Pretty Ricky track. On the hotline. I mean that track. Y'all seen that recent performance of them on the hotline? I mean, have y'all seen them on TikTok on IG with them latest performances that they've been doing? Pretty Ricky.
I don't think I've seen that yet.
No, I heard some rumors about it. Them that's what Pleasure P about a lot of things, but yeah.
Yeah. Y'all know they got the nickname Pretty Ricky from Martin, right? Remember when Martin had to go? Remember the episode when Martin had to go to his high school reunion and then he saw the character Pretty Ricky portrayed by Miguel A. Nunes Jr. Pretty Ricky. That's what they called him.
Okay, nice. What an education.
I'm surprised you didn't know that, Chad. Knowing you watch Martin like that religiously, I'm surprised you didn't know that.
No, that was in the first Tim Bison. That was quite educational. I did not know that.
Yeah, even Miguel A. Nunes Jr. actually spoke about that on the podcast or something. But yeah, he did talk about that. I'll show you the video and everything.
Yeah, okay.
But
Nice.
on the hotline, grind with me. Of course, I watched the episode from the Cleveland Brown show when Cleveland Jr. and Donna they were actually playing the grind with me track near the end of the episode. So grind with me on the hotline. I mean, hey, look, man, Pretty Ricky back in them days in the 2000s, they had some nice tracks though. What was y'all favorite tracks from them?
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't have a lot of like stuff that like singles wise they didn't put out, but I mean, yeah, obviously those are the
But they
two.
had some bangers.
Love, love like honey, your body,
Yes,
Yeah.
and then like Pleasure P went out on his own.
he had that high note.
Under boyfriend number two. I mean, Pleasure P when he went on his own, he had some bangers too. So I mean, like, yeah, pretty honestly though, pretty Ricky for me was like they were like that kind of like you had like a little house party going on. That they were like one of the groups you could go to for the little house parties and stuff like that. So I mean, like, yeah, they didn't have a lot of tracks, but they had really really good tracks. So yeah, my favorite from them, my favorite Pretty Ricky track, honestly, is probably "Love Like Honey." That's my
When Pretty Ricky's
that's my
on that
favorite
high
one,
note, you got to make that sex cry.
bro. Man, like just hey man, they I'll say they Pretty Ricky looked out for a lot of the bros with some of them
Yeah.
tracks back in the day. I'll just say that much. They looked out for the bros.
Yeah.
That was good music back in the mid
Yeah.
early
Them
thousands. I
early
mean,
mid
that
2000s, yes sir.
let's not forget the dream, especially with falsetto. Especially the history lesson Champ's friend gave Champ that day about the song falsetto.
She
Yeah.
rocking that thing like, oh, I love that song. That was my
Yeah.
Yeah.
jam. That was my jam.
Oh man. I know it's Pleasure P, but Boyfriend Number Two is one of my favorite songs. That was crazy. So don't ask me why, but it was one of my favorite songs. But hey, bro, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that
When
in front of a
you
live
say
studio.
don't ask me, I don't know what else to think. I don't know what else to think.
Hey, read between the lines and think what you will. I'm kind of telling you the story. But
Trust
hey,
me, I knew you were.
I'm just saying, hey, sometimes, hey man, they throw the ball to you more when you the number one receiver. When you the number two receiver, excuse me. So, with that being said, I'm just saying, sometimes being a number two receiver is good. They throw the ball to you a little bit more, Number one receiver start complaining and moaning in the media, and then hey, come and throw this ball. I get you a couple touchdowns. Now I'm gonna leave doing this contract, doing this next contract. But yeah. But anyway,
Getting the man on man coverage when the other dude getting the bracket cover.
exactly. Exactly. Going down deep in the field. But anyway, nothing but a number. And I actually sung that to this senior that I was trying to highlight as a freshman. That was a pretty funny moment. No, yeah. I was a freshman in college, and I had just graduated, and there was this senior. She was about to get ready to graduate. She's like, "Oh, you a baby? Age ain't nothing but a number." She was like 22, 23 years old. So she was a that girl was beautiful. She was tall, and she had this beautiful hair, and and when you talk about the chocolate factory, that girl her skin was flawless. Like, she showed me her skin routine one time in order to keep that glow that she had up. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of work. But when she would come out, I mean, without makeup, her skin would just glow. And I never forget. And she had the tennis ball fade, what we used to call it back in the day. She had the tennis ball fade. She had the short hair.
Yeah.
She had the short hair, all edged up, cute waves, and I was like, and she had that table. She had that table. If y'all don't know what that table is, that's when the girl, she got that table. You can sit a ball of water on it. She had that table. So yeah. So yeah, I used to sing that to her all the time when I was in the hallway. So I used to say, look, man, my motive is to get you to laugh. And if saying that to you every day is gonna make you laugh, it's gonna be I ain't gonna say no names because she gone now. But she is she off the market now. But yeah, you remember that though. That was cool. They're still cool to this day. But
man,
that was
hold on, real quick, little bit of I mean, keep track of the NBA real quick. A little bit of breaking news, man. I think if Cooper Flag wasn't already established as NBA Rookie of the Year, he definitely got it tonight. Boy, he scored 51 points tonight.
Damn, Rookie of the Year.
It's gonna be.
They lost, but
because it's gonna be hard though because Canupo though he's been tearing it up.
I would probably still.
Plus, he does have that rookie. Plus, he does have that rookie record for the threes. So, and also Charlotte has been playing some good basketball lately.
Yeah, but I'm still leaning. I would still lean Cooper because like even though the Dallas Mavericks aren't good, him being like the de facto basically like the face of the franchise, and even though they haven't been good. He's got like 3 40-point games. He's got the 3 highest scoring games as a rookie this year. He's 42, a 49, and a 51. I think it's going to end up being Cooper Flag, even though Canupo's been awesome for Charlotte. I think it's probably going to end up being Cooper Flag. Man, plus the hype he's cut. The play, like a lot of reason, and it's narrative too, because the hype he came in with to be able to perform like he has on a consistent basis is probably going to end up being Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
You think it'll probably be like a LeBron Carmelo type of rookie thing with the vote?
I think if Canupo was like leading the Charlotte Hornets in like scoring or whatnot, when you see someone like Cooper like balling out, even though the team ain't that good, I think if Canupo was like, I don't know, if he was like the leading scorer and everything like that as far as Charlotte is concerned, I could see it, but I don't know. Because like Charlotte, for me, they've been playing good team ball. I don't think there's really like one person for Charlotte that's really like kind of, even with like LaMelo Ball there hasn't been like one guy that really like is kind of like stood out. They just, when they got going and they started cooking, it was just really good team ball, whether it's him, whether it's LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges has been playing better recently as of late. So I just think it's been more of a team ball perspective with Charlotte.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, folks, for those who are wondering, I'm trying to see what I can get for Undisputed World Champ. I may think about for Christmas getting him a Michael Vick framed jersey poster. So eventually,
nice. I don't know what to say. Amazing. Damn.
Yeah, but they may save me for Christmas. Christmas, I may get you that for Christmas.
Yeah, we're gonna take you to Magic City for your birthday or something.
The only Falcons jersey I've ever owned was the old one.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna get him the Falcon. I wasn't gonna get him the Falcons one, the VTech one.
Oh boy, that's
Yeah,
doing it right there.
V-Tech. Yeah, V-Tech is
Ooh.
good.
Oh, that's
That would be
good.
amazing. I gotta, I
That's
gotta,
good.
I gotta find you something great so I can top you on that. Gotta
That
find you.
oh
Yeah, I gotta
that would
find.
that would that
If
would cook in so many ways.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll see where I could hook up with the big fella, either a Mike Vick one or a Mike Tyson one. You never know.
yeah. Yeah, I gotta match you on that real soon. But
but
back to the
but
music.
yeah.
Nothing but a number is probably my favorite. Like I said, it's because my thing was even when
I
I
forgot
was
about
in
that one.
damn 8th grade, I was trying to holler at girls in high school. I always went for older girls. They was always older than I was. Like my dad always told me, you can't learn nothing hanging with rookies. So that was my mentality even to this day. So
I forgot about that song. That was one of
so
the
nine
songs.
times out of 10, you see me with a girl, she's probably older than I am. So I'm just being real. But
There you go.
but just like I said, you can't learn nothing playing with rookie. Get somebody with some sense. You know,
Yeah, man.
get somebody
But
with some sense.
on the hotline for me, grind with me, love like honey, especially when Pleasure P is on that high note. That part, Pleasure P. I mean, when it comes to them high notes and that voice, smooth, man. But even though they didn't last that long, but damn, they had some good big bangers. They had some bangers,
Yeah.
man.
And if you wanted to look, and I'm gonna just be real, let's just keep it all the way above. If the party is all, if the house party was looking lame, no pun intended, because I know we talked about Tisha Campbell. If the party was lame, especially back in them days in '06, to 2009, only thing you had to do was bring out the right kind of, drink and put on some Pretty Ricky to get the ladies dancing. Outside of, either that or back that thing up. Get them
Or T
dancing.
Pain.
Yeah. You want to get the ladies dancing back, especially back when we was in college. Guess what? Go ahead, put on some Pretty Ricky. They gonna start dancing. So I mean,
That and Chris Brown. I mean, for the women back in them days, 106 in Park was them days. 106
yeah.
in Park. There was
Hey,
nothing better than going home after a long day of work or school, and then you turn on the TV, the BET, and you watching 106 in Park.
yeah.
Glory days. Glory days.
Especially when Free was on there.
Yeah, and Roski Diaz.
I'm taking Free.
I'm taking Roski. She fine though.
Who
She
I
if
mean,
you
they
fine
got?
though.
both they both look good, but I'm kind of with Champ on that one. I gotta go free. Boy,
Why?
Free.
Cause she thicker.
Yes.
yes.
Hey man. Hey,
But
hey
free was
man, look.
fine though. Free was
Hey,
built different,
I
and
never
then she
said
did.
free
And
wasn't.
no,
I
no,
never
no,
said free
and
wasn't
no.
fine.
What did it for me with free was when she hopped on that Whisper remix.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
I was done.
Yeah,
I was
she was
done.
she was thicker than a bowl of
Certified.
cold grits, my brother.
Certified.
She was
She was
thicker than a
certified.
bowl of cold grits.
She
Free
was
was, and
certified.
she. Now I hate it because she was a Boston fan. She was a Boston Celtics fan, but I never forget. I never forget. Remember that episode on 106 in Park? She kissed that dude on the cheek, and he took off that damn Philadelphia 76ers jersey and put on the Boston Celtics.
I remember that one.
I
I
took that
remember
damn
that
jersey
one.
off so damn fast.
I remember that
I
one.
never forget that.
Although I gotta admit, Lala, I love Lala though from the days in
Yeah.
TRL.
Mm.
You mean Keisha?
And on that note, we gonna end the show.
I mean, she was. I mean, I love the role that she played when she played Keisha in Power.
She did. She did. I love that.
She did a she did a thing. She did a thing.
I love the nude scene that she did though. That
Hey,
was
bro,
pretty
come on,
big.
bro. You could have hid that just a little bit, but I second. Since we already on
It's
the
my
hot seat,
it's my podcast.
I
got something to
second
say.
that motion.
Yeah, you can't knock me for feeling that way. So
Yeah, man, we all addicted to peanut butter in our own little special way, but
that ain't peanut butter. That's caramel.
I mean,
Joy
it both
Taylor's already peanut butter. I
they
mean,
both taste good at the end of the day. So I mean, it is what it is.
they both taste good. Why don't you put them between? You get yourself a peanut butter and caramel ice cream.
Yeah, fresh vanilla butter pecan chocolate deluxe. We can do all that. So.
I wonder. I
Out of
wonder what type
control.
of ice cream flavor you gonna give Nikita Lyons.
Oh, we giving her pure chocolate all day long.
Yeah, thank you, dude. You crazy
Lord,
though about
Lord.
your Tiger Woods take though, but we'll save
What?
that for another time.
Oh, you talking about how
But
he looked
fellas,
like?
Look like you were praying in the
I'm
back
just
of that cop car.
but fellas, that concludes the rest of the Sports PSP podcast. BRF, any final words and tell them where to follow you at, man.
Oh man, I needed this one, boy. Hey, after a long week of work, knowing I got y'all two brothers to y'all gonna give me one every week. I'm thankful. I always have a blast getting on here and doing the show with y'all. But yeah, BRL Sports as always. It's a TikTok handle. Linktree is in the bio. X, IG, Facebook. I have my own Discord. If y'all want to hop in, feel free. Shout out to the Pod and Grind chat. Shout out to the Russell Export Group. Shout out to Sports for You. Man, just it's always a pleasure to hop on here and talk sports, talk life, have fun, cut up, just do what we do best. And to everybody out there listening, Easter's coming up. Spend the time with your loved ones. Um, just be thankful and be thankful all the time. Be grateful. Just appreciate your surroundings, appreciate your family, everyone that's around you. Um, and just enjoy this weekend. Be responsible, have fun. If you do go to church this either Sunday, go in there with an open mind, open heart, open ears. You know what I'm saying? Just take it all in. Be respectful, but also just take it out into the world the right way. Treat everybody the way you want to be treated at the end of the day. So just remember that. Topping I thought about is a topping I thought about.
Yes, indeed.
Big fella.
Um, Let me get out of character for about 1 second. Um, be grateful. Just be grateful. There's a lot to be grateful for, and one thing I'm most grateful for is that I have friends, and I know that that may not mean a lot to a lot of people, but I actually have friends. I have friends here, and I have friends in my everyday life that I talk to every day. I talk to PSP every day. I talk to BRF every day, and I'm glad that I have the privilege of having good friends that will send you shit out of the blue. And I appreciate that. And just know that if y'all ever need anything, I'm always there. And I appreciate everything that y'all do. Every conversation, people don't realize how much a conversation matters every single day. A reel that you might see matters every day. How a lot of people feel invisible when they turn this camera off. You know, a lot of people who are on podcasts, they feel invisible when they're in their everyday life. So don't discount that. So one thing I'm grateful for is I have a great family and I have good friends. And two of those great friends I do podcasts with every single week. And there's nothing like when you have your buddies and you're doing a great podcast every week. And it's almost like it's not at times it doesn't even seem like a show. It just seems like we're having a conversation about crazy shit that just is happening in the sports world. And we go off topic and we find ourselves right back on it. It doesn't even seem like it's a podcast at time. It seems like, okay, man, you ready to talk about what went on this week at work? It's kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
barbershop talk. But I'm grateful to have friends. I'm grateful to have a good family. And I'm grateful to see my friends and family accomplish everything that their heart desires. So I want to thank God for all of that. And man, it's a great thing, man. Good Friday. Had a good day at work. Had a great week at work. Got off my diet a little bit. It is Easter, but I'll be right back on it. And hey, it's just a good thing to see, man. I'm just grateful to be on this show. I'm grateful to be around friends every day. And hey, people don't realize how much strength that you give them on a regular basis to continue because Sometimes social media is a grind. It is a grind making appearances. It is a grind being on other podcasts. It is a grind. And sometimes you want to say the hell with all of this and go back to being everyday life. But, great, thankful that I have great friends that make it easier for me to be on social media because social media is not an easy job. So I'm grateful to have great friends, grateful to have great family, grateful for God to give me life every day. And do not look, use the buddy system this weekend. We used to talk about it a lot in the army. Use the buddy system. I just seen about 5 folks get pulled over on my way home, and I got off at 5. So don't be out here half stepping and get caught short because a lot of these cats can't wait to lock you up. So judge don't get back to Tuesday. So be grateful for your friends and family. Hold them close. The best things in life are free. And, you know, just be grateful.
Absolutely, man. Everyone enjoying. Have a great, happy Easter. If y'all gonna drink, please drink responsibly. Have a good time. Have some fun. Um, if you going to church, don't be like that reverend at home, especially with that woman. I'm gonna bring that up anytime
Ain't
I
no more.
get
Ain't no.
the great
Ain't
D
no.
told me to bring it up.
Don't be playing in the pulpit.
Get them out. Get them out. Get them out the camera.
Love you, beautiful D. Love you, beautiful Angie. Love you, beautiful Mama PSP. Love you, Kaylin. Shout out to all the beautiful women out there. Everyone, please enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Stay safe, and we